If you need it immediately and want to compliment with AC. No interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be...
The lead with 10. Blaze now has 9. Thanks to latest. What a game that was. There we go.
With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around. Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Party. That's on the rocks.
We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your Friday
Presented by
party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky Burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper and Patty party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
The Jason Gregor Show.
What a game that was. Barely on a crutch here.
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
They got some people that are going to help out.
A lovely Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show, making it part of your day. It is a game day. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, getting set to take on the hottest team, not the hottest, but the best team in the National Hockey League, the Colorado Avalanche. They got the most wins. They got the best record. They're averaging the most goals for per game. They've allowed the fewest goals against per game. They're good. No Landeskog, though. No Lehkonen tonight for them. Mackenzie Blackwood. We'll get into Mackenzie Blackwood, who not playing great lately, ever since coming back from his injury in the middle of January. So we'll look into those numbers. Also, the Oilers are, hey, you're in a massive playoff race right now. Every game matters here. This is awesome. You look at the Eastern Conference, and you've got 7 teams that are separated by 6 points, and they're going to battle for 5 playoff spots. The Red Wings have 79 points. The Penguins have 78. The Islanders have 77. The Canadiens have 78. The Bruins have 76. And then the Blue Jackets, 74. And the Ottawa Senators have 73. I'm not including Washington. They got 71. But they only have 17 games left, and they traded away John Carlson. There's a chance, sure, but I don't necessarily see them as a real threat to get in right now. So we'll see. And then you go in the West, and it's similar because the Pacific Division's wide open. Anaheim 73, Vegas 72, Edmonton 70, Seattle 67, San Jose and Los Angeles 66. Now there's a little bit of a gap. Right, it's 7 points between, really kind of got to include Utah in there because they have 73 as well. So 7 teams for 5 spots, separated by 7 points. And schedule matters this time of the year. The Oilers have the advantage in a way. They play the most games against the other Pacific Division teams. So that helps them if you win those games. Tonight is not a game against the Pacific Division, but it's a game against a very good team in the Avalanche. And we'll break that down on the show today. As always, the Gregor Show is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Lotto Max, $25 million. up for grabs. Get your tickets, playalberta.ca. While you're there, check out the Jason Gregor Show. We always have a few odds boost specials involving the game today and more. So we'll get to that at playalberta.ca. We're a lot of things we're going to talk about today. So, of course, we'll talk Oilers. We'll start off with Corey Masisak joining us from Denver to discuss the Avs and how they're good. Kadri's going to play on the wing tonight because Lehkonen is out. But once everybody's healthy, I wonder where they all fit. You got Landeskog. Is he going to move to the wing? You got Kadri. You got Nelson. You got McKinnon. You got Roy. Man, you got Drury. They got a lot of centers. So it's a good problem to have. Steve McGee is going to join us because this record is something that, to me, is underappreciated in Canada. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the kid from Hamilton, Ontario, he tied Wilt Chamberlain's record last night that he set way back in 1963. 126 games consecutively where scoring at least 20 points. He did it in fashion last night, 35 points, including the game winner, three-pointer. He also had 15 assists and no turnovers. Are you kidding me? SGA, as they call him in the NBA circles, this guy's unreal. Like right now, he's an unstoppable scorer. Because it's funny, I had a lot of people say, wow, I thought it would be more games. So Wilt Chamberlain was at 126. He had the longest streak. He also owned the second longest streak at 92 games. Then it dropped down to 79, Oscar Robertson. Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant were at 72. SGA is at 126. He's 50 ahead of the guys who are tied for fourth and fifth in the history of the game. This is an unbelievable record. Unreal. Like when you consider there's no one active who's close. And SGA he's averaged over 33 points during this 126 games. Like, are you kidding me? It's not like he's putting up 21, 22, 21. No, he's averaging 33. And don't tell, well, it's a higher scoring area. Yeah, no one else is doing it. The Joker, as great as he is, he doesn't do it. Steph Curry, arguably the greatest three-point shooter we've ever seen. He's never done it. Never come close. LeBron James, not even in the top 5. This is an unbelievable run of consistency for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't think we appreciate enough. He could set the record Thursday at home against the Boston Celtics. Man, you want to talk about a ticket? And the Thunder, like, they're good. They're really good. And he is the leader of that team. They won the championship last year, and they're right in the mix again this year. Right? They're good, man. They are really good. And they come in a record of 51-15 so far this year. They've won 6 in a row again. They're 9-1 in their last 10. You know, there's them and the Spurs. The Spurs are 7. The Spurs are only 3 games back of them. And then there's a big gap. Then it's Minnesota. It's 10. Like, no one else is really close. The Pistons do have 45 wins, so they'd be 6 back. The Spurs and OKC Thunder, they've already clinched playoff spot. That could be an epic Western Conference final. Massive. So, but lots has to happen before then. Right now, like the Denver Nuggets, yeah, Jokic is great. His team is really good, but I don't think they have the depth to match up. But he's a difference maker. But SGA is going to go for 127 games. And you wonder how long he can go, man. Like when you consider no one really in his era, like Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant were the closest at 72 games. He's done it for 126. It's a phenomenal record. I'm trying to think, like, you know, Gretzky had a point in 51 straight. Pretty darn good. And I know that obviously points in basketball are easier to come by than points in hockey. right? So I understand it. But I'm trying to think of a record that's really even comparable in other sports. Like, it's hard, man. It's really hard. This is something that I've been following it, but even myself personally, I probably underappreciated until we started digging into it a little bit. So congratulations to him to tie the record, and hopefully he sets it, and who knows how far he goes. Imagine finishing the whole season again. If he does it, what do they got? 16 games remaining. So he could get up to 142. Not bad. Not bad at all. Cons, anything that in the NBA today? I thought people saying, oh, Romeo Dobbs, big time receiver. Am I missing something on Romeo Dobbs being a big time receiver?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're talking about his helmet with the cap on it. It's a big time head. To me, I think he's a good receiver. He's kind of the Green Bay Packers. For me personally, I thought they had a lot of really good options. I don't know if there was that one guy who was elite taking the steps forward to become like a clear cut wide receiver one, but I think he's a good option. He's got good size, obviously still pretty young. The pay did surprise me a little bit for a guy whose career high is, 8 touchdowns, just over 700 receiving yards. But he's a good player, a very good player. And I think this is a good opportunity for him to maybe become that number one and really show what he can do. Because I think in Green Bay, as I mentioned, they just have so many good players and so many good options for Jordan Love to kind of mix the ball around and find whoever it might be game to game, week to week, whoever the other team is giving you. He goes to New England, and I think he's probably a clear-cut number one. Keyshawn Booty's there as well, good player, but a chance, I guess, for Dobbs to kind of find that spot.
Yeah, so he's going to the Patriots, and good for them. Hey, they're gonna need some help there, but I'm just not sure I put Romeo Dobbs in the big time playmaker category. We'll see. Also today on the show, Dave McCarthy will join us. We're going to have a special edition of the Business of Sport. Usually we always have it on Wednesday, but we got a very special guest today on the show at 4:00, who has had an unbelievable amount of success in sports when it comes to, coaching teams, building teams. He's done it in his own business life. And it's fascinating when you dig into all the different levels of success that this guy had in sports when it came to, running teams, managing teams, owning teams. So I think you're really going to enjoy our conversation coming up today with Bill Comrie joining us in the Business of Sports at 4:00 today. Then we'll have Spec, DVD. We got Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning as well. Of course, lots on the orders. And the Avalanche, it's a busy night in the National Hockey League tonight. 13 games. And almost every one of them has some playoff implications. The Kings and Bruins. Bruins are in a playoff spot, barely. The Kings are 1 point out. Then you got the Sharks and the Sabres. Sharks are 1 point out of the playoffs. The Sabres are red hot, and they're battling Tampa for first. Maple Leafs and Canadiens. Canadiens in that playoff race in the East. You have the Blue Jackets and the Lightning. Columbus, tough loss yesterday to LA in overtime. Would have loved 2 points, but they got 1. They are trying to chase down Boston. They're taking on Tampa Bay. You got the Red Wings taking on the Sam Reinhart-less Florida Panthers. The Red Wings in the best spot of the 7 teams because they have the most points right now with 79, so they need to win. The one game that has real no implications other than draft lottery, Flames and the Rangers. Then you got the Penguins and the Hurricanes. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are currently in a playoff spot, and it is a big but, they have the toughest schedule left in the month of March. They've got 12 games left this month, and 11 of them are against playoff teams or the teams like Columbus, Ottawa, San Jose that are either, 1 or 2 points out of a playoff spot. They got a really hard schedule. And it's a road trip. Now, I don't study every road trip, but a 5-game road trip for Pittsburgh that starts in Carolina, then it goes all the way out west to Vegas, Colorado, and then it ends up back in Carolina. You got a 5-game roadie that starts in Carolina and ends in Carolina. It is a tough road for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I tell you. Because they got Carolina, Vegas, Utah, Colorado, then Carolina again. Then they're home. They play Winnipeg. Guess who they play next? Carolina and Colorado again. Then they're on the road in Ottawa, home to Dallas, on the road in New York, and home to Detroit. The Penguins, as great of a season this has been, man, this from the March 10th to the 21st, the next 3 weeks, it's really going to make or break their season. Now, they had a huge win the other day, came from behind, got the win without Crosby and Malkin, and they're going to need some other heroic efforts for sure if they want to come back. The Islanders are rolling. They're taking on the Blues, who are playing the role of spoiler very well. Then Vegas is in Dallas. Oilers play Dallas on Thursday. They're hoping that Dallas does them a favor and beats Vegas tonight. Utah and Minnesota do battle. The Ducks are in Winnipeg. And if you're the Jets, now, not that necessarily Anaheim's one of the teams you're going to catch because they can't get in the top 3 in the Pacific, but the Jets are the one team that I haven't included. If you go to my X page that I put up kind of all the standings and everybody who they're playing in the remaining schedule in March, I don't have the Jets in there, but they're close. They're rolling. 4-0-2 since coming out of the break. Hellebuck has said he feels refreshed. He's loving life. And they get a win tonight. And depends what happens with Seattle in their late game as they host the Predators. The Jets could find themselves 3 points out of a playoff spot if they win tonight in regulation and Seattle loses in regulation. And then, of course, you have the Oilers and the Avs. So a busy, busy night, lots of games. And, man, this is a great time of year. The playoff picture changes almost nightly in the National Hockey League. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, what about Bossy's 9 consecutive 50-goal seasons from John? That's a hell of that's a pretty impressive record, no doubt, right? No doubt. It's over an extended period, right? That's like 9 consecutive 50 goals. It's like Gretzky had 13 consecutive 100-point seasons. And actually, I think it was 13 consecutive 121-point seasons, which is wild. And the only reason it ended is because he got injured in his 14th year. Crazy. So, yeah, that's a really good record by Bossy. Hey, guys, you think the Oilers are trying to rope-a-dope their way to the playoffs, playing like they are, and then they'll get in there just to pulverize everyone? From Kevlar. Oh, wow. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. I don't believe that the Oilers are like, you know what? Hey, I do believe that their internal belief system is like, if we get in, we can win. I don't doubt that for a second. I really don't. And not that it's a switch that just flips. I think they believe that they can, if we're talking about a thermostat, and you can turn it up as it, it gets colder in the house, you turn your thermostat up, the Oilers feel like, oh, guess what? Now we got to turn the heat on. In the playoffs, I believe they think they can. They feel they have another step or two to go to. Now, ideally, you'd like to start having incremental improvements between now and the end of the season. That's what they would like. They got 18 games to go. Now's the time to start. This week's going to be a tough week. You got Colorado. They've allowed the fewest goals in the NHL. Then you've got Dallas right up there, second best team in the league. And then you got St. Louis. And St. Louis right now, since coming out of the Olympic break, they're the only team in the league who hasn't even allowed double digits in goals. They've only allowed 9 in 6 games. So it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Hey, Greggs, when's Hassa coming on the Business of Sport? Well, you know what? We've talked to the Dominator numerous times. And our schedules just haven't mixed yet. We might have to just do a live to tape kind of thing one day and then run it on the show on the Wednesday. So we have been talking with Dom numerous times. Obviously, Ritch was his agent, so he knows him quite well. And I can say with confidence that we will get Dom on. I just don't know when, but it is definitely something that we're doing it. Quick break. When we return, we'll go to Denver. The Avs are good, but are we seeing a little crack, maybe? We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale, plus the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Missioner Island Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Missioner Island Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Of course, Oilers, 8:17 puck drop tonight. So maybe get home from work, have a nap maybe. You got some time as they take on the Avalanche. Then they're in Dallas and St. Louis. Those starts will be much earlier, around 6:15 Thursday and Friday night. The Colorado Avalanche, my goodness. They are the best team in the NHL. They got the most wins. They got the most points. They've scored the most goals. They've allowed the fewest goals against. And then they just added Kadri and Nicholas Roy and Brett Kulak before the trade deadline. So they are gearing up. And we'll discuss that and much more on the Avs as we go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. As stop in right now at McDonald's and you can get the new hockey sticks. Check them out, McDavid's and more. Also, just a note, the Sherwood Park McDonald's location on 590 Baseline Road is reopened. So come in and grab a McValue meal for only $5. Check it out at McDonald's as we head out to Colorado. Corey Masisak from the Denver Post, beat reporter for the Avs, joins us. And Corey, it's been fairly smooth sailing all year long for the Avs, and they're in another hot streak. Winners 8 of their last 10. They've won 5 in a row. A little bit of the injury bug biting with Lehkonen and Landeskog, but they've got Kadri and they got Nick Roy, so they got an abundance of centers. For fun, when Landeskog and Lehkonen are back in the lineup, who do you think are the 4 centers?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be, I think my first guess would be that they'll go McKinnon, Nelson, Kadri with Nick Waugh on Kadri's wing, and they'll still stick with Jack Drury on the 4th line. I think, like Jared Bednar has been really big on having like a quote unquote identity line. It's usually the 4th line. They had that kind of going last year with Parker Kelly, Jack Drury, and Logan O'Connor. And now that they've added all these guys, and if everybody gets healthy, I think that's going to end up being the 4th line as well. So it'll be like the 3rd line will be like Ross Colton, Kadri, Nick Waugh, and then the 6 guys that have been the 6 guys all year when they're healthy will still be the top 6. But yeah, he's definitely like the last 20 games here or whatever. I'm sure Bednar is going to like just kind of mix and match and tinker and do all sorts of stuff just to see what he sees and see what he likes.
Yeah. And probably rest some guys if they're nicked up. Why not? He's got the advantage. They've got a lot of points banked for that. Any concern at all? I was looking at his splits for Mackenzie Blackwood, and up until December 31st, the guy was on fire, right? He had a .924 save percentage. He had a .207 goals against average. I think he was top 3 in the league in goals saved above expected. It was really good. Then he got nicked up and he missed 2 weeks. And in the 11 starts since he's returned, he's got an .892 save percentage and a 2.75 goals against average. And, what do you make of Blackwood? I know they got Wedgwood, but anything you're seeing in Blackwood's game that hasn't been the same since returning from that injury?
I think, if my memory serves, I think most of that is in basically 2 bad starts. Okay. He hasn't had a lot of, so one thing with him, this has been, I covered him all the way back in New Jersey. Like, he's had issues at times coming back from layoffs. Like, he'll get injured, be out for a few weeks, and then he'll come back and not play all that well. I think the most encouraging thing that they've felt with him is that after the Olympic break, he came back and was really good right out of the break. Like, I think he started 4 of the first 5 games. Jared Bednar has said, like, they need him to play more. Like, he's been hurt twice this year. He was hurt at the start of the year. Scott Wedgwood was great, got them off to the great start. He got hurt again. Wedgwood has been an amazing story. I mean, even if you just look, I mean, there's a way to look at it and say, look, they just played, if they had important games down the stretch here, it was the last two they just played, and Wedgwood replaced Blackwood and won the game for them, and then he beat Minnesota. But I mean, right before that, Jared Bednar had said, look, we need Mackenzie Blackwood to play a bunch of games here and get him ready for the playoffs. I think there's, like 99%, quote, no question that Blackwood is the starter for game one, and that they want him to just kind of get into a rhythm. Once he gets into a rhythm, he usually gets rolling and plays really well. Like I said, I think he was the starter in one of those games. They had a few duds right before the Olympic break, and I think he was part of one of those. And then, like I said, the Dallas game, he gave up 4 goals in like 22 minutes, and they yanked him. But I mean, I think that's probably, I think if he plays, 4 out of 5 games really well, like he's been kind of on that streak for much of his time playing, I think he'll be fine going into the playoffs. Obviously, they feel like they have one of the best backups in the league too, but I still think if push comes to shove, they would still like to plan on starting Blackwood every game that he's healthy in the playoffs.
Okay. Defensively, they move out Sammy Girard, who didn't really play when they won the Cup in 2022. Definitely didn't play in the final few rounds. They bring in Brett Kulak. He's playing with Malinsky. Got Taves and Makar on the top line. You got the ageless wonder Brett Burns and then Manson in their second pair. And like I look at Manson and Burns, and obviously they're the biggest guys on the back end. Do you see do the Avs, like obviously Makar plays a ton of minutes, but do they try to match up Burns and Manson to the bigger skilled lines of opposing teams?
I would say Jared Bednar hasn't done a lot of that. I mean, I think, Makar and Taves play so much that I don't think he's necessarily going out of his way to say, like, this is my shutdown pair. I'm playing these guys against X. A lot of it is he tries to sync it up more, like with who they're playing. Like he likes to play Makar and Taves with the McKinnon line as much as possible. He likes to get Cale Makar out there for offensive zone faceoffs whenever possible. But I mean, the interesting thing with their defense core is that now that they've added Brett Kulak, and I think he's played 7 games for them so far. They've talked about like maybe trying to play him with Makar every now and then, kind of in a similar way that he would move up, whenever he was in Edmonton. I think most of the time that was injury related, but anyway, I think just having, again, this is like another thing where they've got 20 games here, and I think he's going to tinker with things a little bit here and there just to see where it goes. But you're right. Like, I mean, Kulak has been really good for them since he came over, and Sam Malinsky has been kind of probably the breakout player of the season for them this year. And it's part of the reason why they were able to trade Sam Girard in the first place, is that they've gotten so high on Malinsky. They signed him to a new contract, and I think they were just looking for a more defensive guy to pair with him. And that's kind of what they have now.
When you look at that top line, and it's been killing it. I was looking at numbers, and Nathan McKinnon has a legit strong case for the Selke. Never mind the Hart. I'm talking the Selke Trophy. I was looking at his he's played the 7th most minutes against elite competition. He has the 2nd lowest goals against per 60 of any forward who's played over 700 minutes. And again, he's playing right up there in the most minutes. He's over plus 50, for goodness sakes, at 5-on-5. Like, it's ridiculous what that line has done. Now, Lekkonen's out. This will be I think this is his 3rd or 4th game that he's going to miss. What is it that's made that Lekkonen, McKinnon, Natchez line so dominant this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that Nathan McKinnon has become one of the best defensive players in the league. I do think that he showed that he can be a great defensive player in the playoffs a couple of times now. One of the things that Bednar has talked about, this is my 3rd year covering the team, and I've probably heard him say it 4 or 5 times. Like, in 2022, when they needed, Nathan McKinnon to play defense, he played some of the best defense that anyone's ever seen, right? But I just think that they have been so dominant, right? Like him and Martin Netchus have just worked as well together, or better than they could have even imagined. Arturi Lekkonen is just like the perfect, like, he's the guy who forechecks. He's the guy who goes and digs the puck out of the corners. He's the guy who does play a lot of defense, but he's also like super skilled too. He's not just like a kind of a role guy, but Yeah, no, it's you know, I mean, I think that's like the biggest. That is the biggest for me. That's the biggest part of his Hart Trophy case is those numbers that you just mentioned. Like he's going to like obliterate the record for most even strength goals for whenever he's on the ice. Like he holds the record from 2 years ago. It's like 122, and they're going to get to like 135 or 140. And then also there's the defensive side of it, which is also just insane. He's just putting up like, you know, traditional or analytical plus minus numbers that we've really, other than maybe that 1 year that Johnny Gaudreau had with Calgary, we've just never seen this. So yeah, I mean, I saw that I think ESPN did an article and had him in the Selke conversation. I know the Athletic did one recently where Brock Nelson was in the Selke conversation. I don't know if there is like an individual. I mean, honestly, if you ask me, like just eye test, like who's the best defensive forward on the team, it's probably Valeri Nichushkin. Like just he's amazing, you know, at everything defensively. But I think just the team in general, the way that they have, like the way that they forecheck in waves and the way that they just break stuff up in the neutral zone. And some nights, like, I mean, Nathan MacKinnon doesn't really spend very much time in the defensive zone, which in the modern NHL is the best way to play defense. But yeah, I think they have been doing things that even strength. I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about the power play or not, but even strength wise, this is, you know, one of the best teams the NHL has ever seen.
Oh yeah. In a lot of areas, they've been pretty dominant for sure. Now you mentioned the power play, and it's comical how bad it is. Like, and it's not just, well, you know, they're bad luck. I was looking like they're 31st in power play efficiency, despite being, I think, top 6 in power play opportunities. Like, could you imagine if their power play was good? Heck, they might not lose a game. But it's odd because it's not even that they're not scoring, Corey. Kevin Woodley sent me some number today. They're 28th in expected high danger efficiency. Like, they're not even creating that many high danger chances on the power play. It doesn't make sense to me when I look at their players. Why is their power play so dreadful this year?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the season, I wrote an article about like, okay, they have all these guys healthy now. Like Landeskog is back, Nichushkin is good to go. Who are they going to put on the power play? They had too many options, or you know, they just had a bunch. And I think one of the lines in the story was, you know, Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, and 3 guys from a beer league would make a good power play. Maybe I shouldn't have written that, but it has been, I mean, it has been better the past, I don't know, whatever, 4 or 5, basically since they came out of the break. They're not really trying a lot of like crazy new things. They're just trying to focus on a few things here and there. But like even, they have a whole season now of like scar tissue of like every time they don't score 2 or 3 times in a row on the power play, the crowd gets restless. Like the other night, they went 0 for 5 and gave up a shorthanded goal, which sounds like a terrible game, but they actually did. That was one of their better. I mean, the power play looked good. It's just Jesper Wallstedt made like 6 or 7 crazy saves on the power play. Like they probably should have scored 1 or 2 that night. So it has been a little bit better. It's hard to like pin down because like one night they'll just have problems getting it into the zone, and then the next night they'll get in there and they'll have it for 45 seconds. They'll pass it 14 times. They'll try to throw it into the middle. It'll get broken up and thrown down the other end of the ice. I think the most frustrating thing for them is that they have to work so hard to get one good chance. Like they will get the puck in there and they'll pass it around for 15 or 20 seconds and they'll get one good chance and that's it. Then the puck goes to the other end of the ice. And so I think when they've been really good on the power play, which is almost every other year besides this one, they've been one of the best teams in the league at just retrieve. I mean, I think across the league, I think retrieving loose pucks on the power play is probably one of the most underrated things. Like people don't really pay attention to that enough. But I just don't think they've gotten to as many loose pucks or, you know, limited the turnovers in the offensive zone like they usually do. And I think that's been a really big thing is like they just, you know, they might have 3 or 4 power plays in a night and they'll have like, I would be interested to see what their zone time per 2 minutes is. I'm guessing it's probably pretty high, but they're just not getting nearly as, like you said, they're just not getting nearly as many dangerous chances as they should, given the talent and B, the amount of time that they spend in the zone.
Yeah, it is wild. Like I was looking, they're 5 for 24 since the break, which is 20.8%, which is obviously better than their season average of 20. What are they? 15%, 15.8%. I think, but even 20.8, like that would just be middle of the road. And the thing is, because I looked it up, like it's funny. Usually, good power plays in the NHL when you don't change your core guys, they stay pretty good, give or take a few percentage points, right? And they've been a good power play for the other years. That's why it's so wild to me. It'd be like the Oilers suddenly being a 20% power play team. Like, it just wouldn't make sense, like, to drop that much. Like, because the Avs have dropped almost 10% from where they were last year.
Yeah, I think whenever I've written about it this year, I usually reference the Oilers and the Lightning as like kind of the gold standards. And I would have thrown before the Dallas playoff series last year, and I think that's also part of it. I mean, look, it's a huge deal. They're one of the best teams in the league at everything except for the power play.
Yeah.
But this is also on the backs of the fact that their power play was number one in the NHL from the day that they traded Mikko Rantanen until game one of the playoffs. So it was like 32%. They added Marty Netchis. They kind of tinkered with some things, and for whatever reason, the rest of the NHL couldn't figure it out. They were 32%. They went 3 for 22 against the Stars, and that included like a 1 for, I don't know, 15 or 16 to end the series. They lost the series because they didn't score on the power play. There was just some huge power play chances that they didn't convert on, and that was it. And so they fired the guy who was in charge of the power play, Ray Bennett. He had been there forever. They replaced him with Dave Haxtell, and yeah, it just feels like they try stuff for 5 or 6 games, and then they'll tinker with it a little bit, and they'll tinker with it again. They've moved guys in and out. They just haven't really found. And now they've added Nazem Kadri, and he was great on the power play for them whenever he was here before. He's great on the power play in Calgary, and so he might be, the kind of the quote unquote missing piece. But where he even fits on this with this group is we're not really sure. Is he going to play in the bumper? Is he going to play on the far wing from McKinnon? So it's still sort of that. I mean, that's. If you told me that they were going to run at 20 to 22% during the playoffs, I'd say, well, they're probably going to win the Stanley Cup, because that's literally the thing that's like, if they were at 20% for the whole year, Nathan McKinnon would be leading the scoring race by 4 or 5 points and would probably have the Hart Trophy all wrapped up. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, the Hart Trophy, it's interesting. Kucherov is making a case for himself. Celebrini might make a case for himself. But honestly, McKinnon's going to be in that mix for sure. But I wouldn't rule him out for the Selke Trophy either. Like, honestly, what his numbers are off the charts good. And I know sometimes people I see a lot of people saying, oh, Nick Suzuki. I'm like, what? I look at Nick Suzuki's numbers and they don't come close to Nathan McKinnon's. But it's almost like, well, if you score too much, like Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby had a few years where he was really good defensively. But because he scored a lot, people are like, wow, he can't give you the Selke Trophy. I'm like, well, why? If it's about being good defensive, the best way to be good defensive is being good offensively, so you don't have to defend.
Yeah. No, I'd say, and look, that's clearly the award that reputation carries the most weight. Like, it's like, someone the other day just said to me, like, well, we can't just all vote for Barkov this year. So what are we going to do? Like, so it is that sort of, it's been the same 2 or 3 guys, really for almost the entire time that I've been covering the NHL. It was Patrice Bergeron for a while, then it was Andrei Kopitar, then it was Alexander Barkov. So yeah, I do think that, the numbers have come a long way and they can help us. There's still some stuff that I wish was available to the public that would help us specifically with the Selke Trophy, and maybe even with the Norris. But yeah, I think it should be about as wide open this year as it's ever been, just because of the fact that Barkov isn't playing and Andrei Kopitar is getting older, and there just isn't an obvious guy to me.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Corey, enjoy the game tonight. Should be fun. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Thanks always, Fred.
There you go. That's Corey Masisak joining us from Denver. The Avs, it is wild to look at their power play. And what he said, probably the one thing that gets overlooked a lot about the Oilers power play is how good they are at puck retrievals. They work hard on their power play, and they get the puck back a lot, and that extends their chances. When we come back, a record many people thought would never be tied. Well, it was tied, and it's got a very good chance to be broken, and it's a Canadian. We'll talk about it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.245 as we roll through game day. Busy night, 13 games in the National Hockey League include the Oilers taking on the number 1 seed Colorado Avalanche. It's McKinnon, McDavid, and Makar, and Bouchard, and Draisaitl, and lots of star power on both sides of the ice. Colorado, the high-scoring team in the league. Edmonton tied for second high-scoring. Difference is the Avs have allowed the fewest goals, whereas the Oilers are 27th. So I don't know if Edmonton wants a run and gun. They can, but the Avs have found ways to limit the goals. Avs have had 16 games where they allowed 4 more goals. The Oilers have had 30. That's a big difference, my man. Big difference. Now, speaking of numbers that jump off the page, when you're talking a record amongst the all-time greats and a record that really, outside of the guy who currently holds it, no one else has really ever come close. It's pretty special. And it's a Canadian. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, last night, had 35 points, including the game winner, 15 assists, no turnovers. And they win over Denver. It's a hell of a game. But in the process, he tied a record that was set way back in 1963 by Wilt Chamberlain. 126 consecutive games with 20 or more points. As we get to our NBA report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. And Gilgeous Alexander, who knows how far he can go, but it's pretty impressive when you consider Wiltz was second at 92, Oscar Robertson was 79, and then Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant at 72. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 50 games more than guys closer to his era. I know Jordan wasn't his era, but Kevin Durant's still playing, so I'd say he's in his era. No one's even within 50 of him. So that's why I don't buy when people say, oh, it's different NBA. Different schmifferent. Wilt, when he set the record, did you know that he played 46 and 47 minutes a night in 62 and 63? And he averaged 39 field goal attempts one year and 34 the other. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is averaging 19 and 21. He's a very efficient scorer, and he's playing 33 minutes. So he plays less, shoots less, scoring a lot. He's a pretty good shooter. A guy who watches it closely from OKC, Stephen McGee. He joins us from News 9. And Stephen, this is something that I think probably maybe even got a little underappreciated, maybe outside of OKC, because this is a pretty spectacular record that he now ties with Wilt Distilled.
Yeah, it's impressive what he's doing, and the way he got the record on the night. You know, he not one, but he potentially hit 2 game-winning shots. We thought the first one was going to be good, and then Denver has the 4-point play to tie up the game. Then Shai comes down and does it again. But to tie the record on a game like that with an MVP performance makes it even more special. It's amazing what he's done. He's asked it. He doesn't even think about records like this while he's out there playing. It just kind of naturally happens, and I believe him when he says that. I don't think he's ever chased 20 points in a game that I can recollect. He's always been able to finish in these games. You know, he sits a lot of fourth quarters.
Yes.
Because they don't even play in the fourth, and he's still getting 20 or more points a game. It's impressive what he's done. And this is someone that works extremely hard at the game. He wasn't given the top abilities that other basketball players may have. He worked at it at Kentucky. He worked at it with the Clippers and strived at it with the Thunder. You know, keep getting better, staying late, coming early to practice. And the dividends are starting to pay off for him.
Yeah, you look at him, and like last night, what a performance! 15 assists, no turnovers in that game, 35 points. You know, he's at what's crazy about it is just his point average in this streak, right? Like the guy I know it's a 20-point a game record, but he's averaging over 32 points a game during the streak.
Mm-hmm. And he makes it look easy. Like you'll be watching the game, and then I'm like, "Hey, what's he got? 22? Oh, 33 points. Wow, jeez." You know, and he didn't do a lot of it from the free throw line last night because there's so much talk about him, you know, foul baiting and all that. He only had 4 free throws last night, so you can't, you know, pinpoint that on him. He just had one of those nights, 14 out of 21, and you know, you've mentioned it, the no turnovers. That's impressive because the ball's in his hands a lot. And most teams try to double team him once he gets the ball across half court and get the ball out of his hands. And to be able to do what he did with no turnovers was impressive. But he is on his way to another, I think, MVP. Right now, it's you can't go wrong. If you pick Jokic, that's fine. If you pick SGA, that's fine too. I think they're right there neck and neck. It's just maybe you pick the guy with the better record, but that's up to the voters.
Wow, I would look at it, what he's doing and what the team's doing, and the fact that the guy plays all the time, right? Like you mentioned, he gets sat in the fourth quarter because usually dominates in the first 3 quarters to give himself a pretty big lead.
Yeah, it's amazing. He'll have a quarter to where, you know, he'll have 4 points in the first quarter, and then he'll score 12 to 14 points in the final 6 minutes of the first half. He just can turn it on. Just automatically just kind of hits a go button and he can score points. And, you know, he doesn't look like he's even breaking a sweat when he does it. He's so, you know, sneaky, quick and sly that he can go left hand, can go right hand. He's got that the mid jumpers going. The 3-pointer worked last night. It's just everything's clicking for him right now. You know, knock on wood, nothing happens. But, you know, with the game on the line, you want the ball in his hands, and more times than not, he's going to come through.
So you look at this Thunder team, and, you know, it seems right now it's them and the Spurs. Now, obviously, I know Denver might have something to say about that. But, you know, you look at the playoffs, and obviously OKC, like they haven't secured first place yet. They've secured a playoff spot, but not first place yet. And obviously they want it because of home floor advantage. But outside of the Spurs, Rockets, Timberwolves, Lakers, Nuggets, like, is there anyone else you feel would be a real tough matchup for them prior to the Western Conference Final?
Maybe a Clippers team that could get hot with Kawhi. When you have Kawhi, anything can happen. And if the Warriors, this is a big if Porzingis can stay healthy and Curry can stay healthy, come playoff time, they could give a round one opponent some problems because Curry can take over a game with his 3-point shooting. He can score 40 points in a drop of a dime and has done it before. So it's just a matter of, can the Warriors stay healthy? I'm not sure if they can, but maybe the Clippers could give somebody a problem in the first round. Maybe not upset them, but at least maybe extend it to 6 or 7 game series. But I'm still think it's a 3-horse race between Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets. I may be wrong on Minnesota, but I think those are the three. Minnesota's at number 4, knocking on the door. But right now, my 3 in the West are still Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets. Yeah, that's it.
Steve, how would you, like, when they match up against the Spurs kind of handed to, I know it was early in the season, but, what do you make of that matchup? What's been the challenge when they go head-to-head against the Spurs?
Well, the Spurs defend them very well. Vassell and Castle, very good defenders. And then you got the tall Frenchman that can give you problems. If you try to drive inside, he's there waiting on you. And, that's part of Shea's ammunition is, getting past his defender and going inside for a layup. And if he's there waiting for you, you got to course correct and kick it outside and knock down threes. That first game in Vegas, fortunate to be at, it come down to the Thunder just did not make shots in the fourth quarter, and San Antonio did, and they won the game. Then the second time in San Antonio, I think the home court advantage really helped San Antonio pull away there in the second half. But the biggest shock was what San Antonio did to the Thunder on Christmas Day in OKC. That really surprised me and really opened my eyes with San Antonio, what they're able to do. And then the next game, Thunder was able to course correct and get it right, beating the Spurs at home. And then the Thunder only brought 8 players to San Antonio the last time they met. And it was a 4-point game with 2 minutes to go. So, but I think Oklahoma City has learned some things against San Antonio. But if San Antonio, right now they're relatively healthy from what I could see on the outside looking in. If they can stay healthy, they're going to give anybody a problem. And if they win the West, I don't see them losing in the NBA Finals to a team in the East unless Tatum and Boston could get the job done. And with Tatum coming back, that really changes things in the East.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, and that's who they're going to see on Thursday is the Boston Celtics. It's at home. I know they just won a championship, but, man, this is going to be easily probably the hottest regular season ticket for a chance to see him break the record.
Oh, it's definitely going to be the hottest ticket by far. And it's the last team Oklahoma City hasn't played, and that's Boston. And they play them this week, and then they play them, I think, on the road. They got like a 5-game East Coast road trip coming up starting next week, and that's part of it. So they're going to play Boston twice in the span of 10 days. But with Tatum coming back, yeah, it's must-see, as they say, must-see TV. It's going to be a good one. And Oklahoma City's fared well against the Boston Celtics for whatever reason. I remember the first year, Mark Daignault's first year on the job, when, Thunder weren't doing so well, they won in Boston. So they have played there. They won there, I think they won there last year, and they won one year where they didn't have Shea, and Giddey had a whole bunch of points, and they won at home. So they have fared well against Boston. So it should be an exciting game, and it could be a preview of the NBA Finals. We'll see, but I wouldn't bet against it.
Steve McGee joins us, beat reporter for the OKC Thunder. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the Canadian, last night tying Wilt Chamberlain's record of 126 consecutive games with 20 points or more. He did it with 35 points, 15 assists, no turnovers, and included the game-winning shot to win the game. And so he can break the record on Thursday. I know this is looking a little bit far ahead, Stephen, but the NBA salary cap has a lot of nuances to it. And then you look at the second apron, and like next year, how are they going to get under the second apron? Or is it a concern at all for management? Have you heard about that? Have you looked into that? Because obviously we know it's a big deal.
There's not much concern right now. They drafted Thomas Sorber, a center out of Georgetown, who missed all this year. He's recovering from knee. So that could be a replacement for that player or that player. A.J. Mitchell's on a friendly contract. They can't keep them all.
Right.
We know that. But maybe guys would want to stay for a discount rate. My thing is with this, and this is not just for the Thunder. This is teams shouldn't be penalized for scouting and drafting correctly.
Yes.
The Thunder drafted correctly. They should be able to get some type of tax break on guys that they drafted. And that's for every team, because San Antonio is going to have to deal with that. They drafted Castle. They drafted Harper. They drafted Victor Wembanyama. They should get some credit for, especially the Castle pick. He wasn't exactly, first or second or third pick. Was Castle third pick?
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but I think that's something that they should look at. The teams that draft well, they shouldn't be penalized for doing that, and then it would stop teams from trading all their picks down the road, make the draft pick more valuable. But that's just my thought. But yeah, it's something they got to worry about. But they have a lot of picks, so they can replenish and hopefully develop. But it's not a problem right now. But 2 years from now, it will be.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. He was a 4th overall pick. So
okay,
fourth.
In
so 2024.
Three teams passed on him. So
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right though. You to penalize it if you draft really well, and I know they're trying to spread out but if you want, I'd rather have a team become a super team because they drafted incredibly well.
Exactly.
Than just going out there and getting free agents, because it doesn't really take a ton of scouting to get your star player to go have beer with the other star player and say, hey, why don't you come and play with me? Like that's, it's the easier way to do it. I'm happy that the NBA has kind of gone away from that. It had a trend there for a while, and it's kind of fizzled out because I think it's difficult to do. Most teams, like you look, Golden State kind of, I think, stopped that with what they did and how they drafted their teams and became very competitive. I know they had Kevin Durant for the one, but they were good before they had Kevin Durant. They had won before they had Kevin Durant. And OKC is kind of that next team. And, even Boston drafted a lot of their star guys too. So I kind of like that they're back to that. It doesn't mean you can't sign a good free agent every now and then. I just don't want them sitting there and kind of colluding in the offseason, having them all go to one spot. I don't think that's great for the game. So
I don't like that either. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, I remember the super team that Brooklyn was going to have with Paul Pierce and Garnett, and there was one more, and it never panned out.
No, never did. Enjoy Thursday night. We hope Shea Alexander sets the record, and he's got 60 more games to go this year. That would get him up to 142, and then who knows how far it can go. But the way he's playing right now, it looks pretty unstoppable on most nights. He is a very smooth scorer, a very efficient scorer.
He is playing great at the right time. So that's, I'm happy for Shea because he deserved it, because he worked so hard at his game. Great person on and off the floor. So really happy for him.
Awesome stuff, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Stephen.
Take care.
There you go. Stephen McGee joining us from OKC. I'm telling you, man, you should watch Shea Alexander. Like he is so good that he's not like the highlight reel guy all the time. Right. And that's okay. But he's not a highlight reel. He is very efficient. I know we've talked to Paul Sir about this a lot. Like all the areas of his game, he's very good at. And he can score. He's kind of a little bit of a throwback. He has a lot of, mid-range jumpers, and everyone's like, oh, you can't play that way. Remember that when they were saying that a few years ago? Geez, I'm just not sure you can win with a guy when he's not launching up the threes because of what the math said. Well, he kind of bucks that trend. And to me, it's great to see. He's not launching up a ton of threes. He's not launching up a ton of shots all the time. In fact, right? Like he averages about, 4.5 3-point attempts per game. Right? A total of 19.7 field goal attempts per game. He's very good from the free throw line. Gets there about 9.2 times per game. And he's good from it, right? He's about 89% shooter. That always helps, almost 90%. So let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Tires, wheels, oil change, vehicle repairs. It's a one-stop shop. They do it all. FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers down in Denver, set to take on the Avs puck drop just after 8. Pre-game coverage coming your way at 7 o'clock with Andrew Walker. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Golden Knights taking on the Stars. Mammoth head to Minnesota. Kraken take on the Preds. The Ducks in Winnipeg. Rangers host the Flames. Red Wings up against the Panthers. Maple Leafs in Montreal. And the Sharks taking on the Sabres. In the association, Toronto Raptors in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off 6 o'clock. Elsewhere, Heat host the Wizards. The Grizz meet the 76ers. Mavericks up against the Hawks. Bucks host the Suns. Celtics in San Antonio. Warriors taking on the Bulls. And the Lakers host the Timberwolves. Day 2 of the NFL's legal tampering period. Former Packers wideout Romeo Doubs stayed to New England on a 4-year contract worth $80 million. Meanwhile, the New York Jets have acquired quarterback Geno Smith and a 7th-round pick from the Raiders for a 6th-round selection. In the AJ, 4 games, including Camrose hosting Drayton Valley and Grand Prairie in Devon. In the PWHL, Vancouver hosting Boston just after 8. And at the Paralympics, Canada beating the Czechs 4-1 in sledge hockey. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host, former NHLer and actor Terry Ryan. We'll also look around the NHL with Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
The Jason.
Come for Canada's largest
Jason
trade
Gregor.
shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian
busy
boots.
night, 13
Handcrafted in
game.
Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Game day continues on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight we got a few McKinnon and McDavid prop bets. How about, are the Oilers an upset on the road? Maybe. And also, if the out-of-town scoreboard, some games that we like just straight up. Carolina, a little super parlay, as we like to call it. So check it out. Stay within your limits at playalberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, are on the road in Colorado to take on the red-hot Colorado Avalanche, who have won 5 in a row. The Avs are 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're the top-scoring team in the National Hockey League. They've allowed the fewest goals in the National Hockey League. There's very few areas of weakness, but their power play stinks. It's like, imagine how good they'd be if their power play wasn't 31st. It's 15.8%. And they're a team, I think I got to double check it. I'm pretty sure they're 5th in power play opportunities in the National Hockey League. They get a ton of power play opportunities, but their power play can't score. Like, it's wild. So I just want to pull it up quickly. So power play opportunities, yeah, the Panthers are first. Then the Wild at 210, the Sharks 207, Sens 204, and the Avalanche 203. The Oilers, in case you're wondering, my God, they're 26th at 174. But the Oilers are 26th in power play opportunities. They are first in power play goals with 57. Colorado has only 15.8%. They're down at 32 goals. So Edmonton has scored 25 more goals than the Colorado Avalanche on the power play, despite having 30 fewer power play chances. Now, if the Oilers get the puck more, maybe you can draw a few more penalties. We'll see. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical. They are 53 years. Lots of experience. Got 4 divisions. Mainly the big one lately, solar, because a lot of you are getting it on your home or your business. Save some money. There's grants available. They'll help you set it all up. ActionElectrical.net as we welcome in former NHLer. Stars as Hitch on Shoresy. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just a little bit of a 3-day hangover just going away. I was out in Winnipeg. Oh, yeah, at a cigar bar, great cigar bar, Thomas Hines, connected to like a cocktail lounge. So we were there to do like a promotion, and then it was Whiskey Fest. So we went like at noon, both back-to-back days. So in a room, I'm not too experienced with cigars. I don't mind them. And there were so many different kinds there. I mean, they were awesome. I just don't smoke a lot. But when you want to sit in a place with no windows and you're just going cigars and whiskey for 10 hours, 2 days in a row, boy, you want to talk about a hangover. And then we were coming back, and sure enough, landed Winnipeg to Montreal after all of that. And, not much sleep, morning flight. And I get to Montreal, and of course, everything east is canceled. So I had to go to a hotel. It was a big ordeal. And then 2 more cancellations, and I finally got home Sunday night, and I'm just getting over it.
Dude, cigar smoke, can't do it. The fact you did it for 10 hours, better man than I. Half of your hangover is probably from just the cigar smoke itself. So, brutal. Plus, you probably still reek. So it takes a while to get that one out of you. Now, they haven't lit the cigar yet because you don't get any cigars for being the President's Trophy winner. But the Colorado Avalanche, very good team. They made some big moves. The Nazem Kadri trade came in very late last Friday. They also added Nicholas Roy from Toronto earlier. They also got Brett Kulak from Pittsburgh for Sammy Girard. What do you make of the Avs? And when you look at like Buffalo and Tampa Bay and Dallas and Minnesota, are they clearly heads above them, or where do you see Colorado after the trade deadline?
It's tough to be heads above anybody in today's NHL, but I think they're the closest thing to it. They added some fantastic assets. And I think in a case of Nicholas Roy, he just wasn't looking right in Toronto. I don't know. I've seen him play before. He's been part of championship teams. It just wasn't the right fit. I think he's going to be third line center in Colorado. I think there's more of a fit there. And obviously, Kadri, you're not only bringing him in, but you're bringing him in to the place he's had the most success, albeit he's a little bit older. And they were already really clicking. I heard you talking on the segue coming in, and my goodness, I don't understand why their power play is so poor. I don't. But that's almost scary, because if everything else clicks and you're just kind of thinking, well, is it just a matter of time? Although this is a large sample size. Yeah, they did really well, but you got to deal with that. That's it. What do I think going in with Buffalo and Tampa and teams like that? Well, first of all, let's bring up both those teams. Was that not the most entertaining game you've ever seen the other night? I had to go back. I heard about what was happening because I was just following social media, so I turned it on. And boy, you want to see teams get feisty. And it was almost like a complete 180 from the night before. The Leafs game looked so dead. It was just dead. And then that game looked so alive. And, obviously a lot of defensive breakdowns, but people will be all over me, and some people will love the traditional part of hockey in this next statement. But I like all the fights, and not just because I love seeing knuckles hit jaw, but because both teams were making a statement, and Buffalo were almost like, this is our time here. Not only are we going to scrape into the playoffs here, we're going to glide in. And we actually have a chance for the first time in a long time, and that spirit hasn't been there since some of those teams that went to the playoffs that had so much moxie and spit and piss and vinegar that, they went and showed it. They were tested, and they stepped up. And then, that's not really a regular thing for Buffalo. So I think they saw it as a test within their conference of, let's see who's going to come out on top. Now, Tampa, to their credit, have a history of being feisty, having a lot of fight in the playoffs and outside of the playoffs. But when they've won and gone anywhere in the playoffs, they've done it with teams that have a lot of grit. So they were just kind of bringing back a little bit of the old guard, but showing that they're not ready to step off the mantle either. So I thought that was one of the most entertaining games, and we're leading into the playoffs, so the points mattered, that I've seen in a long time that was merely a regular season game.
Oh, God, buddy. That game had everything. It had 15 goals. It had 5 fights. It had lots of scrums, some big hits, some nastiness. It had everything, which is what you want. To me, hockey is better when it's emotionally charged. And hey, you're still showing off the goals. There's some great goals in that game. Then there was a few stinkers, sure, but I don't care. Like that's what hockey is. Not every touchdown is a Picasso, right? There's lots of bad pitches that lead to home runs. There's lots of blown coverages or bad tackling that leads to touchdowns. There's going to be some bad goals every now and then, but it's entertaining. And hey, the Buffalo Sabres, TR. They're legit. Like the Buffalo Sabres are legit. And they didn't even have Logan Stanley in the lineup yet because he's still waiting to get his visa approved. So, and Tanner Pearson and Schen's probably their number 7. Maybe he slides in a game or two here or there. But I really like what Buffalo did. They're a team that's rolling, and they got bigger and tougher. And because I think in the playoffs, like Tampa Bay, just like Florida, they will skill you, but they will also test your will and see if you're willing to literally fight to want to win.
And that's why when you mention all these teams, and Buffalo now, I can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth, but it's depth. Exactly. Stanley wasn't in the lineup. Each team you mentioned of the last 3, what was it? Colorado, Tampa, Buffalo. Teams that scare you, they have that depth. Remember the 1 year Tampa won it, and Steve Stamkos only played like 2 shifts? Now he had a goal on one of those shifts, but he's their captain, and they won, right? Like it's oftentimes, these teams that win, yes, they're great teams and they have great players, star players, but they win because of the depth. We got Dave coming on shortly. I think that's been a Leafs problem. If someone got hurt in the last few years, not including this one, they're absolute garbage. But in the last 4 or 5, what took them away from being a real contender is that they didn't have that depth. There was no one to go in. They had not many young prospects they were confident to put in. And that transfers over into all kinds of sports. I look at the Jays, but for me, you're looking at, and when I bring up the Jays, I mean Savage in the playoffs. They're pitching depth more than anything. But guys like David Schneider and Ernie Clement, it's the same thing. But in hockey, having that and depth, I don't just mean scoring. You know what I mean? Reliable players that you can put in at a moment's notice to do a job. And so for that reason, you also need versatile players. I often bring up what's my favorite part of Aaron Asham's career, my good friend, probably my best friend in hockey, is Ash played generally on the 4th line, sometimes on the 3rd line. Rarely was he in the top 2, but he could play it. He had 45 goals twice in junior. He wasn't just your everyday 4th liner. He was there because he filled a role. But the year that Philadelphia went to the finals, I think it was 10 or 11, I flew up to see him in Montreal. So proud of him. And Simone Gagne got hurt, but Aaron Asham went into it because he could just slip in, and they had depth that way. That's what I mean by depth, and that can be a scary thing when you've got those kind of players that can just fit. It's like a game of chess, but they can just fit anywhere. It's dangerous.
Yeah. What'd you make of the Oilers' moves at the deadline?
Oh, I loved them. Absolutely. I'd say it paid off immediately. I watched the game until I fell asleep. After all that, I tried to stay up and watch the whole thing. Now I'm over here, it's 3.5 hours later than it is out there. So I watched 2 periods. But Dickinson, Doc, he was in. I mean, he led the tenacious play of a guy like Doc. That the last thing you would expect. I don't even think anybody talked about him at the trade deadline. And I saw twice that his tenacious play led to chances, once a goal. He was on the ice for another goal. Dickinson, you know what you're going to get. It's a tried and tested player that fills that hole. That's what they needed. If you want to count Connor Murphy into that pile, right? The Oilers got what they needed. They needed a right-hand shot. The players I just mentioned up front, they not only needed for them to fill that slot, but they're all great on the penalty kill, right? They're great on the penalty kill. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. You didn't just get people that are going to skate up and down X line, where they're slotted. You're getting people that go out and can slip here and slip there, and they're high picks, right? They're high picks. These guys, I think Doc was a 2nd pick. Dickinson's a 1st rounder, I think Murphy. So these guys are high picks. Usually that means they can slot in. They know what they're doing. They got picked. Yeah, they might do this now in the NHL but they can slip here and there. And a lot of people, when players get traded, they often talk about power play. They don't talk about penalty kill. Look who the Oilers just got. And that gives so much of a break and a relief on the other players. Much like if I'm out there and I got a goalie I can rely on, it really, really matters. So it's the same thing when you take a penalty, right? Now, I know they're capable guys there already, but to me, those are elite penalty killers that you brought in. The only thing, there was only one Bobrovsky out there. I think they made their goalie move, might not be the best, and we're not through it yet. Who knows? Maybe Jerry catches fire. But if you're going to knock him for that, there really wasn't much out there. So, I mean, a lot of teams needed a goal and didn't get one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know there wasn't a lot of them out there. We'll talk more hockey. Dave McCarthy's going to join us next. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies. Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Salvi Group is celebrating 50 years of building homes and communities, and we want to share the celebration with you. For a limited time during our 50/50 event, you'll enjoy 50% off select packages. That's special savings, select upgrades, and added value, all designed just for you. Build new or move in sooner at Hillshire. There's never been a better time to call Hillshire home. Celebrate with Salvi Group and enjoy 50 years, 50% off. Visit Hillshire today. Salvi Group, 50 years of craftsmanship, quality, and commitment.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries, head to toe, and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Buddy, I love this era of music. Fantastic. How are you? Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We love it. I worked out really well last week. We might do that again for some tickets. Got a lot of new subscribers, which is fantastic. And people go to the game. So there you go. I like it. Oilers taking on the Avs. A busy night in the National Hockey League, 13 games, and almost all of them with playoff implications in the standings, except for the Flames and the Rangers. That one's more of a battle for the draft lottery odds, which for those teams, it's a big deal, as the Rangers have 58 points. The Flames have 57. Who can take advantage of it tonight? Who can show up the least to give their team the better chance? We shall see. Each team has 19 games remaining. The Flames would own the tiebreaker because they have 5 more regulation wins. And don't count out the Blackhawks. They're right there too. So we'll see. But the Canucks they put themselves in a really good position. They've got an 11-point lead over the Flames, 12 points up on the Rangers. So barring a collapse, the Canucks are going to go into the draft lottery with the best odds. Now, the Canucks have never had a number 1 overall pick. The Flames have never had a number 1 overall pick. Ooh, could we see it this year? We shall see. Now, let's get to talk a little NHL as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Stop in. The NHL Star Sticks are back, and get one of 7 mini sticks with every Star Sticks meal and collect all your favorite players. Limited time only at McDonald's. What's interesting, though, they don't have Samuel Girard as one because he actually could use his own stick as a signature stick, one of those little Star Sticks. It's about the same size as Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. Joins us, Davey. How you doing, buddy?
Shrapnel to Sammy Girard over there, eh? Like he uses. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it's like the stick that Kyle Wellwood used to use. You remember him back in the day? Honest to God, that thing was a mini stick, man. Like it was. I can't believe how short of a stick the guy used. He kind of like anchored it in his stomach and then just, like a rudder out in front of him. It was crazy how short a stick was and how he was able to stick handle in such tight quarters. But I've never seen anybody use a stick that short, and I guess Sammy Girard might be right there with him.
Oh God, he's got to be close. I'd love to measure who has the shortest stick in the league, and I'm voting Sammy Girard all day long.
Remember Marty St. Louis, smaller guy? He used a stick the length of a telephone pole. Like it's just crazy what works for some guys that doesn't work for. I've never seen a guy use a longer stick than Marty, who was one of the shortest guys in the league.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, speaking of Girard, he's out, Crosby's out, Malkin's out, Mantha's out, and the Penguins got a brutal schedule in the remainder of March. 11 of their 12 games are against playoff teams or teams right on the cusp like the Ottawa Senators. They start with just a hellacious road trip coming up here where they're in Carolina, then they go to Vegas, to Utah, Colorado, and back to Carolina. Then they're home. They got Winnipeg, who's surging. Then they got Carolina and Colorado again, then Ottawa, then Dallas, and the Islanders in Detroit. Like it's 21 games, and the Penguins have had a really good season. But man, I feel like this is death row for them. They got to, if they can make the playoffs with this tough of a schedule, I'll tip my hat to them because I'm just not sure they can.
Yeah, they'll earn their way in if they get in, and they were good on Sunday coming from behind to pick up a big 2 points in overtime against the Boston Bruins. They really needed that game, a game that they didn't have Crosby and Malkin a part of, and I was surprised to see them be able to come back when they were trailing so significantly in that game. When you look at the Metro Division, though, the benefit is all I really got to do is stave off the Columbus Blue Jackets and maybe the Washington Capitals. But Washington comes into this game, into today. They've played 2 more games than Pittsburgh. It's 65. Pittsburgh's only played 63. Washington is 7 points back. So that's a lot of ground for the Capitals to make up. And I'm not so sure they're playing at a pace where I'd be all that I'd be all that sure about them finding a way to catch Pittsburgh. Columbus, to me, is the team, if you're Pittsburgh, that you're most worried about. They both played the same amount of games. But the thing is, they've played so well just prior to and just after the Olympic break that I feel like they're bound to go into the skids at some point for a period of time over the next month. And if they do that, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it either. So the fact that Pittsburgh is in the Metro and not in the Atlantic Division, I think benefits them to an extent. It won't be easy. But in order for them to miss, you're asking Columbus to put together a record over the final 2.5 months of the year that's utterly outrageous. And when you're in the position that Columbus was to have to do that to get back to level water, I'm not so sure they can finish it off. So I'm still kind of bullish on the Pittsburgh Penguins. See Sidney Crosby skating today. It looks like he's getting close to a return. Malkin will be back in 3 games. You know what? Maybe the rest will benefit him to an extent coming down the stretch. I see what you're saying, and the schedule is not easy at all. But given the fact that it's really only Columbus that's threatening them right now from beneath in the Metro Division, I feel like they're going to be able to be okay.
TR?
Dave, who do you think? Sorry, my phone was on mute. Who do you think were the biggest winners of the trade deadline?
Well, I think the Braden Shen deal to the New York Islanders was smart. Like, Braden Shen is a Patrick Waugh type player. He's an in the fight, grinded out, playoff type player. So you bring him in. He adds a little bit of length to your lineup up front. He's a guy who's been there and done that, and he's gone through the battles, and he understands what it takes to win a Stanley Cup. And I think he's a motivated guy. So I thought that was a really, really savvy move. You know, you look at their middle of the ice now, Bo Horvat, Braden Shen, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Casey Zizekas. That's pretty solid. It's not the best in the league, because I think Colorado's is, but that's pretty solid. So I like that deal. I thought that was a really, really smart move. And I thought the guys on Long Island earned the right to have some help brought in. They've played really, really well. And, you know, if you're the Islanders, it's funny, they seem to play Pittsburgh a lot in the first round of the playoffs. And if it started today the way it is, that's what the matchup would be. You know, if you're the Islanders, you're looking at Pittsburgh and saying, okay, they've had a good year. Nobody really expects them to be where they are. Why can't we beat them? I don't think the Islanders would go into that series feeling like an underdog per se. I think that'd be a really good series, and one that the Islanders absolutely have a chance to win. And then if you win that, you get into the second round. If Carolina does their business, that'd be an interesting second round matchup. So, yeah, I thought that was a really smart move. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot of activity that really got me excited. I guess the other team that I would have to say, and it's not really one where you're splitting the atom by any stretch of the imagination, but it's Colorado. Going out, getting Nazem Kadri and getting Nick Waugh puts their middle ice to me, without question, the top in the league. You're bringing in a guy in Nazem Kadri who is familiar with the situation in Colorado. He understands the system. The guys, a lot of them that are still there, are very familiar with what he brings to the table. He fits into the room. And I think he just slots their lineup really well. So now you've got McKinnon, you've got Brock Nelson, you've got Nazem Kadri. Man, if you're an opposing coach, that's a tough question to have to answer. Who am I putting my best pairing against? Who am I putting my second best pairing against? Well, I'm probably leaving somebody then uncovered to do some serious damage. And then you bring in Nick Waugh as well, who I thought was to a degree miscast in Toronto. I don't see him as a third-line center. I see him as a really good fourth-line center. I don't think he produces enough offensively to be in that position, because we see in the playoffs a lot of times, boys, right? Third lines are the ones that make a real difference. They can tip the scales in your favor if the top two lines cancel out. Nick Waugh is not enough of an offensive guy for me to play in that role. But what he does do is he wins faceoffs very efficiently. He was at like 54% at the time of the trade deadline. He's a right-handed shot. He's long. He can handle some defensive zone starts. He kills penalties pretty effectively. That's an upgrade at their fourth-line center position. So, would they have liked to brought in a winger as well in Colorado? Sure, they would have. But there are no perfect teams in the National Hockey League. But Colorado, to me, is pretty darn close to perfect as you can get. So I think Colorado did a really good job, and I think the Islanders in the East did a really good job.
It's interesting because we had Corey Masisak on. He thinks we're always going to play third line with Kadri when everybody's healthy. and then just keep Drury as their fourth line center. So
it's possible. Yeah, I mean, you can use him on the wing for sure. You can put him on the ice in defensive zone situations where if Kadri gets kicked out of the draw, then you've got another center iceman. Depending on where the draw ends up being, you got a lefty or a righty. So yeah, no, that point stands for sure. It gives Jared Bednar all kinds of options. You can elevate Jack Drury to the wing if you want. If you feel that he offers you a little bit more offensively, it gives the coach options, which he may not have had to the same extent before those deals were made.
The Winnipeg Jets, Dave. I look at the West, and the Jets are a long shot, but they're taking on the Ducks tonight. The Seattle Kraken, the Kraken are 5 points up with 20 games to go. And the Jets have gained 3 points in the last 10. So if they gain 3 in the next 10 and 3 in the last 10, well, then they're up on them. Like, it's still a lot, but it's not a crazy amount. Like the Nashville Predators, I think are a team that's kind of going the other way. They've got a pretty tough sked here down the stretch, but like Connor Hellebuyck and the Jets, and I listened to an interview with Hellebuyck, and he said how, winning that gold medal and the way he played, he feels like a lot freer. His words, not mine. And I wonder if the Jets could pull off the miracle come from behind to get in. I don't think they'll do any damage when they get in, to be honest, but I wonder if they can get in.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. I heard that interview as well. And I think we don't take into account enough how much past failures weigh on guys when they've had success individually in the regular season, but have come up small when it matters most. And that really was the story of Connor Hellebuyck, all-time regular season goalie, Vezina trophies, all of that. And then when the playoffs roll around, it's like the Wizard of Oz, where you peel back the curtain and it's like, what the hell is that? That's not what we saw in the regular year. And that weighs on guys. So for him to have the game that he did in the gold medal game essentially rewrote the way you have to think of him. You can no longer say that he doesn't deliver when the chips are in the middle of the table. He was the only reason why the United States won that game. Without that goaltending performance, the breakaway save on McDavid, the breakaway save on Macklin Celebrini, the utterly ridiculous reach back save on Devon Taves early in the third period. Without that, they don't win that game. And then we're talking about disappointment for the United States. Connor Hellebuyck won them that game. They play that game, 95 times out of 100, Canada wins it. But they didn't that day because of how good Connor Hellebuyck was. So now whenever anybody talks about Connor, that'll be the most recent reference point, not playoff failures from years gone by. And now that he's got that on his resume, he's got a gold medal. That save that he made on Devon Taves, you talk about the picture that Elsa Garrison took of Jack Hughes after the game, that above shot, that sky angle shot of Hellebuyck reaching back to make the save on Devon Taves, put that on a stamp, for God's sake. Like that was outrageous. So he's entrenched himself in the lore of USA hockey. That's got to be freeing. And now I think he's playing in a way where he's not worried about having to match up to people's expectations and constantly being called a guy that doesn't get it done when it matters most. That will absolutely free him up. And I think that's, fellas, what's going to have to happen in order for Winnipeg to get in. I think Connor Hellebuyck's going to have to be their best player. He's going to have to play, to me, Hart Trophy caliber hockey over the last 20 games if the Jets are going to want to get in. Because it's not just the fact that they're only 5 points out. And I know Nashville seems to be sliding the other way. But nonetheless, you got to pass Nashville, you got to pass LA, you got to pass San Jose, you got to pass Seattle. It's not just 5 points, it's 5 points from 4 teams. And when there's that many teams ahead of you, all it takes is for one of those teams to play, marginally better hockey than you over 20 games, and you're not going to get in. So I think there's a tall task in front of them. They got 20 games left. They're at 62 points. To get to 92 points, that's 30 points. They're probably going to need to go like 15-5 or like 12. No, I can't do that math in my head. I don't know. But my point being is that they're probably going to need between like 15 legitimate wins or 12 wins and a bunch of overtime losses over 20 games. That's a pretty tough pace to play on. The only way they do it is if Connor Halley plays Olympic level gold medal hockey over the last 20 games.
And lastly, Dave, there's some reports that the Florida Panthers, Reinhart sitting out, and people are like, oh, Florida's going to tank, so they ensure that they get that top 10 pick of their own, right? Because currently, right now, they would be picking 9th today, but they're 1 point out of picking 12th. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't be the first team to try to improve their draft lottery status. This is more so about maintaining their pick. Now, Marchand, we knew was hurt at the Olympics. It kind of showed in his play. Maybe Reinhart was too, so he sits out. How many guys have to be held out before you would think like this is blatant tanking by the Panthers?
Well, I don't know.
It doesn't matter to you.
No, it doesn't matter to me. I think, look, they've made it to the Stanley Cup final each of the past 3 years. It's a lot of mileage on those bodies. And when you're not in a position to make the playoffs, I think they should be at the point where if you've got a nick, we'll see you next year. If you've got a little bump, see you next year. What is the point, if you're Florida, of grinding it out to the extent where you have guys playing through injuries when it doesn't matter? They don't have to prove anything to anybody. They've been to the Cup final 3 years in a row. They've won 2 Stanley Cups. If guys are hurt, guys aren't 100%, if guys are 95%, shut them down. That's prudent management. Doesn't bother me. And then it gives them the opportunity to get a longer look at some guys in their system, some younger guys elevated in the lineup to really understand what they have. I don't see how anybody could be upset about that. Man, I remember would have been, 2015, 16, when the Leafs were not all that good, kind of like they are now, but in a different situation. JVR after the All-Star break, well, see you next year. Like, it was just shutting guys down left, right, and center. That to me is smart management. Having older veteran guys that have been to the Cup final 3 years in a row, 2 cups, grind it out when they're not healthy, to me doesn't make a lot of sense. And if you're offended by that, well, I don't know what to tell you. Be offended by it, but I'd do the exact same thing if I was the manager in Florida.
Davey, great stuff, buddy. Have yourself an awesome week. We'll talk to you on the brunch on Sunday on Sirius XM, and then next week here, Sports 1440. Have an awesome day. Sounds
good. See you, boys.
There you go. That's Dave A. McCarthy, Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan. We'll come back. We'll get to 5 questions and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, it's Tuesday, and you can get to Lotto Max $25 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale, plus the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks.
We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Patty's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a full warranty center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB, and we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at aws.ca. AWS Welding. Our welding keeps you working.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters to Central Alberta, like 10 new school projects for a total of 27 underway, redeveloping Red Deer Regional Hospital and investing in more rural family physicians, expanding trades education at Olds College and upgrading facilities at Lakeland College, twinning Highway 11 and expanding Red Deer Regional Airport, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. For more details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. I got some other things I want to talk about later on in the show today. Business and Sport, Bill Comrie is coming up. Very much looking forward to this, man. I think people are going to be stunned. Like, this guy knew how to build businesses that were very successful, but also teams that were very successful in different sports. So we'll touch on a lot of that with Bill coming up in the Business of Sport. But first, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. We're saving you more. That's what they specialize in. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, beds, mattresses, you name it. They got it. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. The Oilers, of course, in Denver tonight, set to take on the Colorado Avalanche. Looking to make 2 straight wins. Let's get a bold prediction along with a score prediction for this one.
5-4 Oilers in OT. And Dickinson gets a goal and 3 points. There you go.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, the goal scoring doesn't surprise me, but Edmonton got absolutely dominated 9-1 when these teams met earlier this year. Now, the last year, different year, the Oilers actually won both games in Colorado. So I have Colorado winning 4-3 tonight. And bold prediction, Trent Frederick. Goals in back-to-back games for the first time as an order.
All right. Question number 2. TR, you went there. But if this game does go to overtime, which team do you think has the advantage when the top 2 lines go out?
Well, Edmonton's got McDavid, Bouchard, and Draisaitl against McKinnon, Natchez, and Makar. Natchez isn't close to Draisaitl, so I have to say Edmonton.
And doesn't Natchez shoot right?
That's a good question.
I think he does. You'd have 3 right-handers. You'd have 3 right-handers. They're so close. I just take the Oilers because they got a mix.
You're right. Yeah, that would be 3 righties versus 2 lefties and a righty.
There you go. I mean, those are great players. It matters probably a fraction of a percent, but I'm just going to go with it because it's so close.
Question number 3 for you guys. Looking ahead to the playoffs, which 4 teams do you think will be the wild card teams for the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Go ahead.
Wild cards. I'd have to look at the standings in front of me to give you a good prediction. And I'm in my car.
If I going into the wild card spots for the Stanley Cup playoffs, oh man. Good question, Cons. I think Utah for sure is going to be one of the wild card spots in the West. So then that leaves one of Seattle, San Jose, LA, I guess Winnipeg, because I do think Edmonton, Anaheim, and Vegas will stay in the top 3. So I will. Today, I still probably have to go with the. I might actually go with the Kings over the Sharks and the Kraken. I just don't like the Kraken. I think the Sharks aren't ready. The East is wide open, man. The East is really tough because, Detroit's 3rd place in their division over Montreal, but Montreal's got 2 games in hand. They're in the wild card. You throw in Boston. I will say, I think Ottawa gets in. So I'm going to say Ottawa and Montreal.
All right. Question number 4. Just 27 years old. I was to say Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was the best Canadian basketball player of all time. Would you agree? And if not, what more do you need to see him accomplish before he gets the title?
For me, oh God, I mean, it'd be him or Steve Nash, wouldn't it? Am I forgetting like a legend that would be right up there? Like, because of the MVPs.
Yes.
Nash got 2. I believe he has 1, but he has the finals MVP and a championship. So I think all we're waiting on is longevity before he's a Hall of Famer as well. And then I think he'd get the tip of the cap as much as I love Nash.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. You look like he could win his 2nd MVP this year. He's already won a finals MVP. He's already won a championship. And I love Steve Nash, but Steve Nash was not the scorer that SGA was. So I think it's SGA.
All right. Unanimous. Final question for you guys today. Legendary music producer Rick Rubin celebrating his 63rd birthday. This guy's done it all. But of all the albums he's worked on, songs, do you have a favorite?
There are so many. So I'm going to give you just my top 3 without, because there's a ton. But it would be Run DMC Raising Hell, which was really influential growing up. I was 7 or 8 years old. Really loved it. Got me into the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, and still some of my favorite bands ever. There's a band called the Jayhawks, and they have an album called Rainy Day Music. It's one of my favorites. A lot of people probably have no idea the band I'm talking about, but they are fantastic. Check them out. But my favorite would be the American series that he did with Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash did them not long before his death, and they are mostly haunting, but they're definitely different takes on songs already written by somebody else.
Okay, that's quite good. I'm gonna go with License to Ill for the Beastie Boys. Fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm also gonna go with Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush the Show, classic. And I think I might, now the other one's tough, but I'm probably gonna go with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Blood Sugar Sex and
Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yes. So those would be that guy. Like, man, I didn't know until Con sent me the link of all the different performers he's been involved with, man. Like, I had no idea that he was with Shakira and Justin Timberlake and And others like, God, this guy has had a career. Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran, like, man, he is across the board, all the way from, like, you talk about a 50-year career of just being stellar, and the people that he's worked with. So obviously he's got his resume was a lot deeper. I knew some of the others. I didn't know, like Wu-Tang Clan and others, man. It's pretty Black Sabbath. Like, he goes across the board. That's what's pretty cool about it. So I love it. TR?
The con man.
Yeah. Cons, what about you? You got it?
Oh, yeah. So many. It's funny because you talk about that versatility, just going through it. Like, he went from Slipknot to Lil Jon and then to Weezer. For me, I loved what he did with Rage Against the Machine and then into Audio Slave as well. So that would probably be the top for me. But the ones you guys named, 99 Problems with Jay-Z, great. He's just unbelievable, just the versatility that he has.
TR, have yourself an awesome day. We know you got the Orders winning tonight. We'll chat with you on Thursday. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton, and we'll chat soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan. Coming up, the business of sport. It's a day early because we got a big guest. Of course, Ritch Winter will join us, and Bill Comrie. You want to talk about an unbelievable career in sports, but also in business, from running teams, coaching teams, managing teams, owning professional sports teams. Had a lot of success in business with the brick, of course, but then in sports. So we'll find out why in the business of sports next on the Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Let's get to the con man. This is brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, vans, trucks, SUVs, you name it. They have over 15,000 vehicles to choose from at 71 different locations. Find the vehicle for you. GoAuto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Oilers and Avs just after 8 o'clock. Our pregame coverage is going at 7 o'clock with Andrew Walker. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Jets and Ducks and Adams taking on the Wild Stars, host the Golden Knights. Penguins in Carolina, Rangers and Flames. Maple Leafs taking on the Canadiens, Sabres with the Sharks. And the Kings in Boston in the association. Toronto Raptors in action. In Houston, tip-off 6 o'clock. We've also got the Hawks and the Mavericks. Celtics take on San Antonio. Warriors host the Bulls. Pacers in Sacramento. And the Lakers taking on the Timberwolves. World Baseball Classic. Canada taking on Puerto Rico tonight. First pitch, 5 o'clock. In the NFL, day 2 of the legal tampering period, as former Packers wideout Romeo Doubs heading to New England on a 4-year deal worth $80 million. And the Jets bringing back Geno Smith along with a 7th-round pick from the Raiders for a 6th-round selection. In the AJ4 game tonight, including Camrose hosting Drayton Valley and Grand Prairie in Devon. In the PWHL, Vancouver hosting Boston just after 8 o'clock. And the Paralympics, Canada beat the Czechs 4-1 in sledge hockey. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show. It's another edition of the Business of Sport with NHL player agent Ritch Winter and Bill Comrie. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Tuesday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440 is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca. Stay within your limits. Use your GameSense AB.ca. Usually we have the Business of Sport on Wednesday with Ritch Winter, who joins us now. Rich, how you doing?
I'm good, really good. I'm looking forward. I'm leaving for Russia tomorrow, or Thursday. So, it's really been good being here and it's really enjoyed knowing you. And if we don't see you again.
Yeah, good luck, man. Good. That's a dangerous place to be going right now.
I had a choice of going through Istanbul or Dubai. And I picked Istanbul, fortunately.
Yes, right. That would be a smart one. Today on the Business of Sport, very excited to have our guest who, of course, a lot of people know him very successful in business, but he's been very successful in the business of sports as well, owning multiple different teams, coaching, managing teams that I didn't actually know until we did a little research on our next guest who's going to join us. Of course, he was invited to the Chicago Blackhawks training camp, but elected not to go because his father, Herb, had passed away, and he came home back in the 1960s to run and help run the family business. Many of you might know it. It's turned into the Brick, which became pretty successful. And now many years later, they're still a big sponsor on our show. Bill Comrie joins us. Bill, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I knew a little bit about you. Obviously, I've met you once before, but I did not know the backstory going back to even, when your father. So I want to talk about that because obviously it's, I lost my father not as long as you. I was 27. It's obviously a very tough thing to deal with. And so your father, Herb, passes away and, you have a tough decision. It's, okay, could I go try out for hockey? Obviously, it's in the original 6 days. It's damn hard to make those teams. You chose the family business, and obviously it was a very good choice for you. Kind of walk us through that. And as a young, I think you were 19, Bill, when you had to make that decision and how challenging that was at that time.
Yeah, I was 19, just about to turn 20, and I was supposed to go to. Back in the day, it wasn't a draft. You signed it was a C form, I think it was called, and so there was no draft. So I signed. I had like quite a few of the teams wanting me to sign. I signed with Chicago Blackhawks, and then I went and played for their farm team there in Moose Jaw, and then I ended up playing with the Oil Kings after Moose Jaw folded, actually. So my dad passed away. And I was going to go to camp, and my mom said, "You can't leave. We don't have any money. There's a mortgage on the house. There's payments on the car." And my mom had never worked. And my dad he sold furniture, right? And then he had a little tiny furniture spot where he had furniture. And she said, "Well, you got to sell the business." Well, there really was no business to sell. So I found two guys that would buy half of it. And Tiny Thompson was the general manager or the head scout of Chicago Blackhawks. He kept calling me, "Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here?" And I had to explain to him, and he still couldn't figure out why I wouldn't go to Chicago. But we were a little bit desperate, and I found two guys that had a really bad location, and they couldn't rent it out. And they said, "We will buy half if you buy half." And so it wasn't very much. It was like, I think, 20 grand total. And they said, "You have to put up half." And I said, "Well, how much money you have?" I got that used car. It's about $400, right? And they went, "Okay, well, we'll sign at the bank." And they co-signed for me. So I still owed half. And then I started a Midnight Madness, which was crazy. I was 19 years old. I had 1,000 people outside trying to get in, and I didn't even know what it was crazy times. And so then I wanted to expand. I had a old Safeway store that I found, and they didn't want to expand because so they bought me out for $8,000, and $16,000, and I still owed the bank $8,000. So I started Bill Comrie Furniture with $8,000, and then we moved to the brick building and called it Comrie's Big Brick Warehouse, and then it became the brick. That's that.
Now, my mom told me a story, and I apologize if I don't have it right, but when you were like in the Edmonton Journal, she swears it was for like a month, you had like this, just a red square at the top of like the front page of the Journal, and people didn't know what it was because there's no internet back then. And it was just like building up the hype to it. And everyone's like, "Oh my God." And then finally it opened. Do you remember? And because like marketing is a big thing back then. And it's obviously changed to how it is now. And my mom swears by that. And she was like, that was the most genius one because had everybody talking like, "What is it? What's coming?" And all it was like this red brick. No one knew what it was. Whose idea was that?
Well, if it was really good, it was mine. So that was after. But then I started doing my own TV ads too. That was another situation,
Did you save any of those sports jackets, Bill? I've never seen you wear one.
Well, they were great. You know what happened, Rich, is I went on and I had one of those sports jackets, and people started talking about it. So my next commercial, my cousin Gary had a clothing store in Edmonton, and I'd go down to him and I'd say, "You got to give me the loudest jacket," because so I would just borrow it and go on and do it with the loud jacket, because that was something people still talk about. I mean, you remember it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Bill, you obviously had a lot of success in building a good business, but you were also involved in lots of hockey coaching and managing for football. Like you took over the Maple Leafs, the MLAC, when they were pretty brutal, and they built them up. And I think you guys won 2 provincial championships. I kind of want to go into what was your mindset in how you built successful teams and got guys to come together and succeed in both hockey and football.
It was interesting. I coached the Ched Good guys, and that was the top team in the Maple Leafs at the time. And I had a really young team, and they were all coming back the next year, and we'd end up winning the championship. And I got the coach of the year, which was great. And so then I was starting my business, and this guy named Alan Meyer was the person with the Maple Leafs, came down to my store and said, "We'd like you to coach again," right? And I go, well, I'm just so busy right now. He says, well, why don't you take over Pardee equipment team? That's our other team. And we sort of stack one team, and this one is a weaker team, so you won't have to spend as much time with the kids, right? And I go, well, I don't, if I come back, I got all my whole team back. I'll come back and coach Chad. He goes, well, you said you weren't coaching, so we already hired a guy, named Jim Robbins to coach Chad. And I go, oh, well, I probably won't come back. And then I started thinking about it. So I phoned him and I said, listen, maybe I will do I'll take the Pardee team, right? And it really, it was a struggle. So Harold Snips played football for me. I won two provincial championships. So my brother Fred played for Stettelbauer as a juvenile football team. And he said he's going to quit when Dad died. And I said, no, I'll come and coach, right? So I went and met the guy who was a guy named Gary Acorn was coaching. And he said, I said to him, I want to come and coach with you. And he goes, well, okay. What side of the ball you like? I said, well, I played with Bonnie Doon. I played, running back. So I said, offense. He goes, oh, great. I like defense. So we got together and we ended up winning the championship. And then the next year, Harold Snips played. He played tight end for me. And then he was trying out for Pardee equipment. And he wasn't doing very well. He kind of was, not going to make the team. And so I had like 6 guys picking him and working with me on it. One of them was Andy Wheaton, who runs the brick tournament with Craig Stiles now. And so I said, look, we're going to pick. And so anyways, I went to Harold after, and I felt so bad. He played for me. I said, Harold, will you give it everything you have? I got to do extra. So he said, yeah, anything. So first meeting I had with the team, I went, look at you guys. You guys, if you don't want to play here, that you're not predicted to do too well. And they go, yeah, no, we want to play. I said, okay, everybody wants a release. I'll give them the release. Anyways, we got beat pretty bad in the first part of the season, and then we started getting better, and we made the playoffs late, and it was by Christmas time, Harold really, I'd go on the snowbanks because they wouldn't give us, we didn't have as much practice time, so we had the outdoor rink by the racetrack in Edmonton, the horse races there, and so we rented that. I had that rink and outdoor. I had Harold in the snowbanks trying to make him turn to the left. He couldn't turn to the left, right? You got to go turn to the left, Harold, right? So anyways, so he was like playing really good. And by the playoffs, he was my best player on the team. And we ended up facing Ched in the final. And the parents already got along because of Ched always won that type of team. And they weren't used to, so we beat them in a best of 5. We went to Calgary and won the provincials, and I went to Brian Shaw. I was coaching the Oil Kings at the time, and I said, listen, Harold, I played for Brian, and he said that I said, I'd like you to see this Harold Snips. He really has gone a long way. He's a big kid, and and he'll work real hard. And Brian came out and watched one of our games, right? It was right before we went to Calgary. And he goes, yeah, okay, you can come out and practice with us, right? And so he went and practiced with him. He made the team the next year. A year later, he gets drafted by the Vancouver Canucks. He calls me, he says, hey, coach, I'm starting tonight in Vancouver. And he says, you're going to watch? I said, of course I'm going to watch. So I watched, and after the game, he called me and said, what'd you think? I said, still having a little trouble turning into the left. He said, you can't say that tonight. I said, I'm just joking, So, but it was. By the way, I did go to the Maple Leaf banquet, and Jim Robbins had run away with the league with Ched, but then we beat him, and so they were giving out the coach of the year, and I got the coach of the year with Ched the year before. And they announced the coach of the year is Bill Comrie, and I walked up, and it was that Al Meyer. He said, "Give me the trophy," and he goes, "We're going to change the name back to your name." They had Jim Robbins on it because they'd won the league, but we beat him in the playoffs. Yeah,
Now-
that was my little coaching there.
Yeah, but for when you coach, though, did you have a philosophy? Like, how did you get your players to improve? Like, how did you take coaching, and did you see similarities in how you ran a business?
100%. I demanded a lot, right? My practice, like when I came down here, a guy named Rick Kelly, who Rich knows, played professional hockey for years, and he came, like I'd coach. Then I'd coach the boys in Edmonton too. My sons Eric and Ty and Mike and Paul. I coached them all the way up, man. So but like when I coached with Rick down here, I went, okay, we're gonna run a practice, and I gave him a practice schedule. It's 1 minute we're gonna do this, 3 minutes we're gonna do this, 5 minutes. He goes, well, nobody's ever organized a practice like this, and we're gonna introduce the power play, in 2 practices, the penalty, so. I was one thing, I was very organized in business, and I felt very organized and in hockey and in football, how I coach. I'm very involved. I would, like, Rich knows the kid down here, Trevor Moore, who plays for the Los Angeles Kings now. His skating wasn't really great, but I kept pushing him, and he won the race, right? And he goes, oh, hey, coach. And I go, yeah, it's the good news and bad news. You won the race, but now I expect you to win every race, right? So, but I just, I would feed them positive, but our system, every system was practice every day. So anyway, that's coaching.
Now, Bill Comrie joins us. You had success coaching in football, obviously in hockey, and then you went into, you had a lot of success at the Brick, and you built that up, and everybody knows what the Brick is today, and then you had a major role in all of that. But then you went into professional ownership, Bill, and I got to think, as a coach, maybe it's very different as an owner. How hands-on you are obviously varies from owner. We see some owners are very successful, and other owners aren't very successful. You purchased the BC Lions at a time when they weren't doing very good. And I think it was 2 years later, you guys won the 1994 Grey Cup. What was your philosophy as an owner? How hands-on, how involved were you? Or are you a believer, I hire guys to coach and they coach?
Yeah, I was probably a little bit more hands-on than I maybe should have been, but I don't know if we would have won the Grey Cup if I wasn't. So, so I'll give you an example. So, like Larry Smith and John Torrey were the head of the league at the time. Larry was the commissioner and John was the chairman. And I met them in 1992 at the end of the season. They were playing Toronto, and I was at the game, and the league was in trouble. BC Lions, if they lost BC, and they had like 7,000 season tickets, right? 7,000 people come to the games, not season tickets. And the team was a disaster. I think they'd won 3 games, right, all year. And so I told Larry, okay, well, I'll buy it, but I want the Grey Cup here in 2 years, right? He says, why 2 years? I said, well, I'd like to win the Grey Cup at home, right? And he goes, Bill, this is a 5-year project, right? I go, well, if you want me to buy, and I know you need a buyer, I want the Grey Cup here in 2 years. He says, all right, we'll give you the Grey Cup in 2 years. But and so anyways, the first year we made the playoffs and lost out in the first round. In the second year, I was very involved in a big trade with Ottawa because Bernie Gleiberman, he owned them, and he was like, they kind of did a sneaky trade on us, and so I called them out for it. And so we ended up getting probably 4 players back that all played in the Grey Cup for us, right? And so then we like we had, we go to Edmonton and we win the last play of the game. And I'm in Edmonton. Don't forget, I'm in Edmonton. I was on the Edmonton Esco board. I mean, I'm an Edmonton Esco fan. I'm in the box, the visitor box, and my friends are all got their Edmonton jerseys on, and they're looking up at me like we're going to get beat, right? And anyways, we ended up getting lucky that we got an interception, and Louis Pisaglia kicked a field goal in the last play of the game. We go to Calgary, and we are, we are like 22-point underdogs, and we're getting beat pretty good. And Danny McManus comes in, who I wanted to be our quarterback, and I did talk to the coach about that, but he didn't listen to me much. But he came in, it started to snow, and we started coming back. We came back down to the last play of the game against Calgary, and Danny throws a button hook. I don't know if you know who caught it in the end zone.
Swervin Mervin. Was it Fernandez?
No. Danny McManus.
Ray Alexander, Darren Flutie?
No. The quarterback for the great quarterback for Calgary was the best quarterback in Calgary.
Well, they had Doug Flutie. They had Garcia in the.
No. Little guy played in the NFL.
Yeah, Doug Flutie. Yeah,
His brother Darren Flutie got the touchdown against Darren was on the other team. Darren Flutie ended up getting the winning touchdown on the last play of the game against Calgary. Now we're going to Vancouver. I call the coach and I go, "Well, Danny McManus." He goes, "Yeah, but he's our backup." I go, "God, you got to be kidding me!" Right? But anyways, he was the coach, and anyways, he started our other quarterback, and Kent Austin. We were losing to Baltimore, and Kent got hurt. Danny come in and got us there. And last play of the game, field goal, Pisaglia right through the middle, and we won last play of the game, 3 games in a row to win.
Oh yeah, I think.
And then I'm on the stage, getting the Grey Cup, and I wanted to say it's mine, but I had to go. No, here it's the coaches. Owners always do that, right?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that 94 Lions, you won 3 playoff games by a combined 5 points, which I think is like the fewest points. Like every game, as you mentioned, Bill, came right down to the wire. Interceptions, field goals. So definitely, you got your money's worth. What was the biggest difference in being owner of a professional team compared to how different you run a normal business?
Well, okay, so when I bought the team, and this happens in all sports, so we had to change general manager. So everybody, you need this guy's got the experience, this guy's got the experience, he's got the experience. And I met with them and I went like, it's just the same old that's going to happen, right? I've got to think outside the box here. So I brought a guy in who you will know his name is Eric Tillman, right? Yeah. He was a young kid at the time, had no experience. He ran the Senior Bowl down in the U.S. where they're sort of the all-star, college kids, and he knew which kids fit the Canadian Football League that could never make the NFL. Well, we brought in Philippod, whose kids are both playing now, he brought in kids that were quite amazing that couldn't make the NFL, but were really suited for the CFL. So he was really a major. When you hire people in business or sports, you've got to think how they're really going to help you, not because they've done this before. Anyway.
I like that a lot. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back more with Bill because I want to expand on that because what you just said opened a big can of worms for me, Bill. So look forward to it next. The Business of Sport, Jason Gregor, Ritch Winter. Our special guest, Bill Comrie, today on Sports 1440.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, stop pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen, as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Got that feeling? The one that makes you want to roll the windows down and just drive? A puddle! That's not just spring fever, that's a sign that it's time to visit Nisku Ford. They've got the cure for your driving fever with their biggest offers of the year. Get rebates and $12,000 on select new models, or drive away with 0% interest. Don't just dream about the open road, own it. Find your cure for spring fever at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are this Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large section of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your best. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
We continue on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Jason Gregor, Ritch Winter with you. Our business and sport, our big guest of the day is brought to you by Silent Ice Center, state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, with features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area. Great place for hockey, concerts, and curling. That's the Silent Ice Center. And our guest, of course, is Bill Comrie. Of course, started the Brick and just went on to many other things. Was an owner of the BC Lions, had a part ownership of the Chicago Cubs, and then they broke the streak. So we might have to get into that. I don't know. Did you sacrifice a goat in that one? I'm not really sure. I love that legend of the Chicago Cubs over the years. And Bill, what you said though before the break really piqued my interest. You said in sports, you want to hire someone for what you believe they can do for you, not what they have done previously. And a lot of times in sports, you recycle a lot of people. And I know that experience is important, but there's also an opportunity to have other people involved. And being involved in sports, and you've been in the CFL, you've been in MLB, you've been in the AHL, or was it the IHL with the San Diego Gulls? I can't remember. But it is different, right? And it seems that there's a lot of people that always want, well, this guy's got experience, I got to go with them. You bucked that trend, and obviously it worked for you. But why do you think it's so hard for a lot of owners in pro sports to always want to go with the kind of the recycled same guys all the time?
I don't want to sound like I know more than them, but I grew up playing sports, coaching sports, understanding sports. A lot of the owners they're really great business guys, and they buy teams. So they listen to other people that make the decisions for them, right? Not everyone, but a lot of the owners of different teams, haven't got really sports experience. They haven't really played the game. Not many, but there are some. And I think it's easier for you to understand the game if you really played it.
Okay, and that's valid, right? Because, and really in business, a lot of people that are successful in business start out doing the small areas. You got to understand all the nuances of your business. It's really hard to just hand somebody, oh, you know what, you're going to come in and you're going to be the CEO right off the hop. It's pretty difficult to understand your business. And in sports, I could see it being the same way. Now,
I don't want to interrupt you there, but I almost think the opposite, right?
Okay.
Like I grew up in a dressing room.
Yeah.
Right. And when I started my business, a lot of the people that worked for me were guys that, were in hockey and different, but a dressing room there's players, there's assistant captains, there's captains, the coach, the general manager, and the owner. A business is really the same if you build it that way, right? If you use really sports dressing rooms really helped me, do the brick or build the brick. It was only myself and my brother. My younger brother was working for me at the time, and then as I hired people, I really learned from the dressing room.
What did you learn most from the dressing room?
First of all, I learned that you have to be a team, right? You had to be a team, and there was a pecking order, right? So if I ended up, like say the brick later, I had all the people working for me. I had managers, who were, assistant captains. I had vice presidents who, were, maybe the vice presidents were assistant captains. The president was the captain. I was the owner. It's very, the structure is very, very similar if you think about it. It helped me. It definitely, the dressing rooms really helped me a lot. And I know that, I don't know, I'm not bragging about this, but I gave the employees a bunch of money when I sold, and other people hadn't done it, and they said, well, why'd you do that? And I said, because it was really the right thing to do. It was really the right thing to do because I grew up in the dressing room. It wasn't me that did the whole thing. It was we did it as a team. That's how I feel.
Well, and Bill, talk about the San Diego Gulls, because in terms of starting out with helping guys start out, there's still guys in the game who've learned a lot from that experience. That was a big year when you guys when you bought the team down there, and you had a pretty interesting group of players, coaches, managers.
Yeah. Well, so my brothers live in San Diego, and this San Diego golf team came up, and I said, okay, yeah, I'll get involved. And so my brother said, look, you know more about it. Why don't you hire a coach. So I went to Montreal NHL meetings, and I wanted to hire the right coach, not somebody that did this and that. Right? So anyways, I had 3 lined up, 3 guys, and I won't say the other 2 guys, but so the first guy came in, I said, bring your playbook, right? I said, all 3 of them, bring your playbook. I'm going to ask you questions. So I asked them like questions like, how do you break out of a left wing lock? What's your, forecheck, with 2 guys? Do you have a support guy? Do you have 1 defenseman high? I'd ask them these questions on a penalty kill. How do you, are you going to overload? And well, these guys brought in, the first 2 guys come in and they had some little pieces of paper, and then Rick Dudley came in, right? And he had a book. And I said, how do you left wing lock? He goes, here, let me go here. This is how we break. I go, oh, that's pretty good. What about here? He goes, yeah, it's good. Anyways, he became our coach, and we went from last to winning the championship.
And the GM,
and it was Dudley that was really instrumental. And then he went on. Actually, the coach that coaches the Winnipeg Jets, where my son Eric played for the San Diego golf team also. Right? But there's a lot of guys that went on from that San Diego team. But Dudley was, matter of fact, it's funny. Eric had made the 18 and under team. We're in Slovakia, and Ty Domi's son Max played on the team with him. And Ty and I were kind of hanging out, so a bunch of NHL guys were there. And so Ty says, hey, let's say hi to them. He walked in, and he said, you know Rick Dudley? And Dudley says, yes, I know him very well. He was the owner. He asked me questions that no owner's ever asked me before.
Bill Comrie joins us. And Bill, you mentioned your boys, man. They've had a lot of success, from goaltenders, to forwards, very different positions. You mentioned you coached them. How was your approach at coaching not only them but other kids at that time? And obviously your boys are, they're almost a little bit different generations. Eric's, quite a bit younger than Mike and Paul. So, you had to coach, in different decades. What was your approach to coaching as a father?
It was interesting because, hockey parents are hockey parents. And so Mike, Paul and Ty were forwards.
Yeah.
I coached them. I only coached the defense because I didn't want anybody thinking that I was sending out my kid too much. So the other coach would coach the forwards. I'd coach the defense. Of course, we would talk, together, but I was mostly coaching the defense. And when Eric became a goalie, I really wanted to coach defense. But they all, the good part is they're good parents, they're good family guys, and it's all great.
Well, I thought about you today, Bill, because I was on with the assistant general manager of an NHL team, and I did something that you and I don't know how many other people do. The phone rang, and it was Mike Comrie's critic calling. You remember the one that said he couldn't play in the NHL? My daughter, Alana?
Yeah.
So, because we'd actually gone to Meg's last game, and Alana said to us on the way back on Bill's plane, she says, I don't know, he didn't score in his last game, right? And she said, I don't know if he can play in the NHL, Dad. It's so we tell that story. But more importantly, I said to the assistant GM what you would say when she called. What did I say?
Yeah, I'll take the call.
I got to take the call. Just hold on a second. And Bill, that's something Bill taught me that, and I remember being challenged by it a little bit because Sheila, I would say I'm calling, about Mike or something, and Sheila would say, "Oh, I got to get Bill right away." And he said, "Well, it's not that important." No, if it's about his kids, he's got to take the call. And that's been, I think that's been your mantra. You've been a really good example to me, but and we talk a lot about our kids, but I think at the end of the day, the success you've had in business, I'm sure you would agree, is almost irrelevant compared to the success you've had building a family.
Yeah, well, family's everything. That's for sure. Yeah,
But
I mean,
problem-
Paul would call my office, and I'm in a board meeting, and Paul said, "No, it's just Sheila. It's just about homework. I can talk to him after." She go, "Oh no, I'd be out of that board meeting. No, what's more important?"
Well, and it's funny, those are small things, but they're big things. Like, I think the small things are the big things. And I think that, I just always found it interesting. And it's really, I think, changed the relationship that both of us have with our kids, because I don't think either any of your kids or any of mine think that they're anything but first in terms of how we approach it. And that's a big deal in terms of building relationship. The only problem with the Comrie family, though, is you got to be really careful. If they ever invite you to a family event and they suggest you join the tennis tournament,
it's very competitive.
Very competitive.
Very competitive.
Who would you say, like, who's the most competitive, Bill?
Me.
Are you?
It's equal. It's equal. And my Kathy's husband Jay. They live in Edmonton. It's like he's just as competitive as all of us. And there's 4 boys, myself and him, and it's like it's a family war. The tennis. we had to get we have an NCAA judge now in ball boys and ball girls, because you got
to trust each other.
Calling it out, that wasn't out.
Oh yeah, that was 6 inches out. I know what you're talking about.
Now, Bill, we've had a few texts wondering, were you ever when OAG, because you're big in the community, when the OAG obviously kept the orders around, how much of a role did you want to play in that? Kind of walk us through what happened there.
Yeah, it was interesting because you know what, I put that whole thing together. There was a big hate on for Peter at the time, and I called Peter, and they were talking about moving the Oilers and all that, and I called Peter, and I said to him, "Look, hey Peter, I would like to have a meeting with 20 people from Edmonton that we want to talk about keeping the Oilers here, but I'm not inviting you." And Peter was a good friend of mine, and I golfed with him a lot, and we traveled together. He was very generous to me, and he took me to a lot of games and that. But I told him, "You can't come." It's And so I invited 20 guys. We had it at the Mayfair Golf and Country Club, and I said, "Everybody keep it quiet," right? I got a call from a guy named Cal Nichols, who you guys know very well now, and Cal called me and he said, "I just sold my business. I heard there's going to be a meeting. Can I come?" And I said, "Well, I promised there would only be 20 guys. Let me get back to you." And nobody kind of knew Cal at the time. And so I called him back and I said, "Look, you can come, but since there's only 20 guys, you be the 21st. You can't say anything. You just have to listen." Right? And Cal said, "Okay, I have no problem with that." So we had like Agrius and Urker and the Melton and all the Edmonton guys. And so we first got in. Glenn Sather, I had Glenn there, right? And so I started the meeting, and I said, "Look, let's talk about how we can solve the problem. When you talk about business and sports." He said, "Let's just talk about the issues. We don't want to talk about Peter." Well, first person says, "Well, if Pocklin and Hand," I said, "Look, this is not going to, we can't go there." And look, you guys, we're going to stop now. Let me start with what I can do, right? I sell to Sealy, I sell to Sony, I sell to Serta, and I went through. They have boxes in Vancouver, they have boxes in Toronto, Calgary. I'm asking them to buy tickets here. I'm going to my suppliers to get them to buy tickets here. Now let's talk about that. Then guys started to, get into it and all that. So the meeting, oh, by the way, the meeting was very quiet. Nobody knew about it, except when we pulled in, there was CTV and CFR. I mean, the ITV. They're all their trucks are outside. And I go, Jesus, it's really quiet. Edmonton's very quiet, right? So anyway, we have the meeting. The Mayfair, the Mayfair manager comes to me, goes, look, they really want to, talk to somebody here, right? And so I had Dennis Cirker beside me. I said, I don't want to talk. Dennis, you talk. So Dennis says, okay, but I don't want to be the I said, no problem. So Dennis talked and explained what we were doing. We want to make sure the team stays here. And then Cal calls me after and he goes, listen, I got extra time. If you guys don't want to do it, I can come to my office. He showed me his office. I said, great. And so then Cal put a group together to buy. He wanted me to be part of it, right? So I would have loved to have been part of it, right? However, I went and talked to my two boys, Mike and Paul, and said, what would you think of me investing in the Oilers? Dad, you can't. If we ever made NHL, it'd be because you invested. I said, so then I went back to Cal and he said, well, we can do it anonymous. We have this guy, he did anonymous, right? So I went back to the boys and I went, look, we can do anonymous. This guy did anonymous. He goes, Dad, if he's anonymous, how do you know his name? So I went, yeah, you're right. So I went to Cal and I explained it and they totally understood it. But I helped when they sold and Daryl wanted to buy. There was a couple of holdouts and I helped Daryl get the holdouts. And obviously Daryl's been a good owner.
Bill Comrie joins us. And I love that, Bill, kind of, and it's funny that, Mike and Paul both end up playing for the Edmonton Oilers. So they had a little bit of looking in their crystal ball at the time. I don't think anybody, but I understood, I can understand their mindset, unfortunately, because there will be people that will view that as, they're only there because of their father and who they know. And we hear that all the time. Heck, I see it in U11 and U13 sometimes. And I'm like, I think we need to.
I think Mike might have overcome it by scoring 33 goals. It wasn't Bill that, did that, but it's, I can see what they were thinking. And, but it's pretty interesting.
We didn't know that they were going to make it either, Rich.
Oh, that's true. We didn't.
I mean, hockey parents down here. So Mike was playing for the Phoenix Coyotes and the hockey parents, the good players, they're 10, 12 years old. Their kid's going to make the NHL. He's the best player around here. They're going to make. They would come to me like, Mike plays for Phoenix Coyotes. When did you know he was going to make the NHL? I said I actually knew exactly. I knew exactly. That's when it worked. I said I was at the Montreal Canadian game and I saw him skate on the ice for the first time. I went, he made the NHL. And until that, everybody makes the NHL.
Yeah, and it's a very good point. Like, it is hard to make. Now, as a proud Edmontonian, as a father, I mean, everybody saw, Mike comes to Edmonton and it was great and he was having success. And then, there's a contract negotiation. It didn't work out that way. But he did get to come full circle. And I remember talking to Mike about it. And it was actually a preseason game when he got in a scrap. And I know how Edmonton fans are. It was just like, oh my God, I love this guy again. Like, it's Mike Comrie now, he's fighting. But how important was that for you, Bill, to kind of see that relationship repaired a little bit between the fans and Mike in Edmonton?
Yeah, it was important for me, but more important for Mike. Right? Yeah. I mean, Mike loved Edmonton. He grew up in Edmonton and that. And Ritch Winter screwed up the contract. So, but other than that, this was Ritch was very, very good.
But it was tough, Bill. It was tough.
But I'll let you. So Mike got a goal and an assist, I think, the first game that he played. It was a preseason, I think it was, right? Or something like that, where he got a goal, whatever, he got something. And then he got in a fight, right? So he told my son, Paul, that he's going to fight that guy that night, right? And Paul said, no, Paul, Mike, you don't. That's the guy that gave Paul the concussion.
Oh, I remember that. That's a good mother, man. I love it. That's totally valid. That's 100%. I did not know that.
Yeah,
either.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, Mike wasn't overly, but Mike was highly competitive, right? Like, he was very, very skilled player. but he had a little bite to his game. There's no question.
Oh yeah, he was fighting. I'll tell you another cute story about that on that game. So Mike, he's going to want to fight. He was going to fight that guy, but he wanted to. Back in Edmonton, I'm going to show them that I really care, right?
Yeah.
So he was lined up, and they were playing against Vancouver. It was a different game. Maybe the first game they played. And he said to the kid as they were facing off, "You want to fight?" And the kid said, "No, I don't want to fight." Mike said, "It'll help me make the team," right? Kid said, "I'm not going to make this team." Mike said, "Oh, okay." Little things that happen on the ice, right?
All right. Well, hey, and Mike at the time was like, he'd scored 30 goals twice in the National Hockey League, 60 points multiple times in the NHL. So you know what? He probably knew a few things about how to get there.
Well, and people don't always understand. Like Bill's right about what happens on the ice. I represented Brent Myers, the most suspended player in the history of the game for drug and alcohol abuse. And I remember, I forget who St. Louis player was, but a preseason game. So he says to him, Brent says to him, like, "We got to go." The guy says, "Brent, I'm not going in a preseason game." He goes, "Buddy, I've been waiting for this for a year and a half." So gloves came off. Well, people don't understand. Like, it's sort of like, talking at a bar and no, I don't agree.
Yeah,
okay, drop them.
Yeah, no, you got.
I'll tell you a little bit about BC Lions if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's how, like you said, like, how do you, pick the team and that. So I was so involved in getting, not on the field as much. I helped in that one trade, we would chat. But off the field, there were 7,000 people come to the games. BC Lions was bankrupt, right? And so when I took it over, I was sitting in the box. I had my guys from the Brick, Kim Odlin, who does promotion. He does a lot of advertising for the Brick still, on the field, and one of the girls that worked for us on the field, and I was in the box as the owner. I had the headsets on just like you have, and I'd be talking to them. And so right away, the music didn't come on quick enough. That music has to come on right now. So I was we would meet right before, like 2 weeks before the game. What's the entertainment going to be? What music are we going to use? And those type of things.
Yeah.
And back then there was no emails. I wrote at least 1,000 handwritten letters to fans that were the guy spilling beer on me in the front, and I'll be at the game, in 2 weeks, I'll come down to your seat, right? But we went to 27,000 average, 60,000 in the Grey Cup, and so I mean it's not, it doesn't happen by accident. You've got to work at building a business, whether it's sports or selling furniture. It takes effort.
Move like a butterfly, stings like a bee. Nobody beats
Bill Comrie. That's in tennis and other sports.
Bill, I got to ask you, what was your, because I got a fun before I let you go, and I really appreciate your time today. What is your favorite coach? If you had to if you could look back at all the years, because I can tell you, for many years, that black, I used to call it, and I still do because the Bricks advertised, I kind of joke about the black leather couch that every bachelor would have had in his life. It was unbelievable. Could fall asleep on that thing after a late night. It was perfect to watch a game. Did you have a favorite piece of furniture from your time at the Brick?
A favorite piece of furniture?
Yeah. Couch, anything that you're just like, that was my favorite.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. So my first wife, Teresa, we had a little house in Otwell, and about 1,000 square feet, small house, and people came in to buy some tables, right? And those tables that they liked were going on delivery this afternoon, but they wanted it, and I went, and they said, "We need it right away." I said, "We'll get it right away." Our drivers knocked on the door. "Mrs. Comrie, we're here to pick up the tables in your living room." Yeah, no.
Oh.
And when I was on real quick, when I was on TV, people came into the store and went, "Oh, wow, I saw you on TV. I didn't, I see people on TV. I never thought I go, yeah." So then I sold them some tables and lamps, and they went, yeah, that's great. When would you like it delivered? They went, when can you do it? We can do it tonight, tomorrow, whatever we can deliver, right? And they said, well, we can get it tonight. I said, yeah, that's me in the half-ton truck delivering, carrying it into their house. They went, why, on TV?
Hey, you know what? I think a lot of people, when you run a business, and you do a lot of things. That's just how you can't. There's no job that's above you or below you, I should say, when you're the owner of a business.
Yeah, 100%.
It's why Coach Wooden was a great coach. He never, his teams never left a dressing room anything but cleaner than what it was when they arrived.
Yeah,
it's showing respect for people and working hard, man. It's the key.
It's very true. Bill,
I know you don't have much time, but do you have time for a little quick Grey Cup?
Sure, yeah.
So we won the Grey Cup, right? Now my president and I are in the dressing. Well, first of all, the guy gave me a big leather jacket. BC Lions champions. Wow, thank you. And he left. Anyways, we get in. I'm wearing the jacket. We get into the dressing room with my president. Everybody's drinking champagne. They leave. We're going to the victory party. Grey Cup's there. I go, I don't know. I've never won the Grey Cup. I'm supposed to take it. I don't know. So we had the limo outside. We take walking down the street, and people are cheering. Oh, there it is. Look at that. And nobody had pitch cameras then, right? So anyways, we get into the party. Everybody cheers, put it up. And I'm going, okay, we're going to buy significant rings for you guys and significant, bracelets where you're sticking up in others. And we're going to get, what about the jackets? Jackets for everybody, So then, if we're leaving, there's that Grey Cup. Take it, to our hotel, and right, and it's like we have it. So then I phone my restaurant. I'll bring you the Grey Cup today. A car dealership, Maury Keith. I'll take you. People got these little cameras. There I go. Brought it home. I have it in my living room. Right. I have the Grey Cup in my living room. And Roxanne's my wife now is the Grey Cup is there, and her brother is a big Eskimo fan. Grey Cup, I'm going to a party. Can I take it? And he's a responsible guy. I go, yeah, take it. Bring it back. So he took it. He brought it back. So about 6 months later, Larry Smith calls me. Bill, we got problems. What? We don't know where the Grey Cup is. I go, Jesus, it's in my living room. Now it's like, now they got it all,
So you kept it for 6 months?
Yeah. I took her to the Conrie reunion, a big family reunion.
I love the fact that you trusted the guy that well. Hey, can I just take this to a house party? That guy would have been pretty popular just showing up at the party. Hey, I got the Grey Cup. What's happening, fellas? That is awesome. Great stuff, Bill. Hey, continued success with everything. Thanks so much for spending an hour with us here on the Business of Sports. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, good seeing you again, Jason. Good. And Rich, thank you.
Yeah, take care, Bill.
Rich looked after all our kids. So
yeah, you betcha. That is Bill Comrie. Man, what a storyteller, and what a life is successful. Obviously, and we had a lot of texts from people that are like, man, I didn't know that story. Bill's father passed away, and that was kind of his introduction to get into the family business. Probably earlier than he expected. Herb passed away young. Bill was only 19.
But Bill always thought like a team. Like it was some of the things he did. One of the things he did I thought was really fascinating. So he went down to go to the furniture shows, right, to buy furniture in South Carolina, which was before China took over. And he assembled a group of guys who different markets who he thought were the best in that market.
Yeah.
So they all got together, shared marketing information, did all that stuff. I mean, Bill recognized his weaknesses, which became his strength, right? And every one of those companies, but Bill's, was bought by Warren Buffett. And the only time he was a little bit reluctant to take my call on one of his kids, it went something like this. Rich, I just can't talk right now. I am spanking Warren Buffett in a card game. And I go, fine, Bill, I'll call you later. That was the only time. So that was, but what I really like about Bill is, you go to one of Bill's parties, or when Mike got traded to Philadelphia, and the others didn't take Corey Perry in the first round pick that the Anaheim Ducks put forward, but half the plane was full of guys he went to high school with. Bill understands the value of his roots, and he understands the value of being a father. And that's not something I see often in people as successful as him.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, great stuff, Rich. We appreciate it. An early but very fun edition of the.
Well, we'll try and talk that one.
Yeah. Well, hey, buddy, you fly safe.
Well, we're going to do one maybe from St. Petersburg.
We're going to try to figure it out.
If I survive.
Yes, if I survive. Yeah. So good luck in Russia.
Yeah, we'll do the memorial service live from Russia. Maybe I have to take like thousands of dollars in cash because they don't take credit cards. Like the Americans won't process them. And I'm like, I get in at 1:00 in the morning. So I phoned the GM and he says, "Oh no, we'll send a car for you." I'm going like, I can only imagine everybody that speaks only English walking around. They have a couple $1,000 in their bag, in their pockets, right?
Oh, geez.
So I need someone to pick me up. I'm a little nervous.
Drive safe. Hopefully you got a good chauffeur to pick you up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, there you go. That's the business of sport here on Sports 1440. Let's get to the con man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It is March Madness, but there's no gimmicks. There's no special offer. If you're just looking for a good, fair deal, NorthgateGM.com.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by PlayAlberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca. This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers down in Denver to take on the Avalanche. Puck drop just after 8. Pre-game coverage coming your way at 7 o'clock here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. Elsewhere tonight, Kraken taking on the Preds, the Ducks in Winnipeg, Wild hosting the Mammoth Stars, beat the Golden Knights, Penguins, Hurricanes, Rangers, Flames, Jackets in Tampa, Canadians host the Leafs, and the Sharks taking on the Sabres in the association, Toronto Raptors in action, down in Houston, tip-off 6 o'clock. World Baseball Classic getting going shortly here, Canada taking on 3-0 Puerto Rico. NFL Day 2 of the legal tampering period, former Packers wideout Romeo Doubs heading to the Patriots on a 4-year deal worth $80 million. While the New York Jets acquiring quarterback Geno Smith and a 7th-round pick from the Raiders for a 6th-round selection. In the AJ, 4 games tonight, including Camrose hosting Drayton Valley and Grand Prairie in Devon. And in the PWHL, Vancouver hosts Boston just after 8. Paralympics today. Slant Hockey Canada knocked off the Czechs 4-1. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Derek Van Dies from NHL.com, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, coming through
Regulated.
do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Go to get you from Legacy. Oh yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy.
You
today.
are
Plus
business
no
and sport are big.
no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 1-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party that's on the rocks.
We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Patty's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party that's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Some deals are too good to be real. Not at Tim's. For just $8.99, get a hearty loaded wrap with wedges and Coke. A real meal. And for $8.99, a real deal. Try it at Tim's. Plus tax. At participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time. Terms apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more, breaking down the green and golds, the most in-depth W football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for being part of the show, whether you're listening, whether you're watching, whether you're listening to it later, downloading on the podcast, jasongregor.com. We very much appreciate it. It's always brought to you by playalberta.ca on a busy night in the National Hockey League, so you can have a lot of fun. 13 games, including the Oilers and the Avs, and we even have our Jason Gregor Show specials going on for the games, including the Oilers, a little McKinnon-McDavid action, a little Oilers, a little Avs. What do you think's going to win? We actually have one for both, if you're not sure. So check it out at playalberta.ca. Some great, hey guys, great interview with Bill Comrie. I love it. Nothing happens by accident. Great message for business owners delivering furniture at night from Pat. It's true, man. You talk to a lot of the successful business owners, and a lot of them could tell you stories about when they start out and the things that they've done for their business. I got to write you a book on my own stuff. I was doing everything. And, you know, you make mistakes as you go and you kind of live and you learn, and it's fun because it's something you're passionate about, for sure. And there's lots of entrepreneurs and there's lots of people that you don't have to have I didn't, honestly, when I started my business, I literally started with an Excel spreadsheet. Like, thankfully, my buddy, good-looking boy, he had an MBA, and so helped me with just a basic, invoicing. But I still use it. Still what I use for today, 20 years later. And, had some basic knowledge. And, okay, well, if we're bringing in this much money and I have to send out this much money, we got to pay people. What do we need? And literally started on a spreadsheet and then went from there. So it's kind of wild. I had no business background, just a work ethic. And luckily it worked out. And I think there's lots of business owners out there, lots of people are maybe thinking about doing it. And you got to take a risk sometime, for sure. And there's lots of people out there listening that have had success taking a risk once, sometimes twice, because the first time doesn't always work. So good luck to you. And I love that from Bill. Nothing happens by accident. It's very true. put in the work. Usually, I'm a big believer that like the best hockey players are usually the hardest workers. Right? McDavid didn't get great by accident. Right? The guy puts in tons and tons and tons of time. And in the business world, right, the best teachers are the ones who put in the most time. When you think about people, say, who is a teacher that really impacted my life? It's the ones that go above and beyond. It's no different in any walk of life. Now, let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And that's a company, I know, Turan. And, hey, a lot of hard work, man, grinding out. Now, we joke about he's in the ivory tower, but it started out lots of work. And they give you the opportunity to shoot up the ladder. They love promoting from within, and they're hiring at gsconstruction.ca. As Mark Spector joins us from Colorado, where the Oilers and the Avs still over 3 hours away. Puck drop will be 8:17 Edmonton time tonight. So, man, get home from work, have a nap. You'll have lots of time. Spec, how you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, she's a late one. I'm not even suited up or anything here. It's 5 o'clock, and we're still more than 3 hours to puck drop.
Yes. Hey, the Avs are really good in a lot of areas of their team. Now, they don't have Landeskog. They don't have Lehkonen tonight, so maybe Edmonton could take advantage. Like, I know that, the season's long. There's 82 games. But when you get spanked 9-1 by a team, and this is the next time you meet them, there's got to be a little extra motivation for the Edmonton Oilers tonight to say, hey, this team pretty much embarrassed us on home ice more than anyone has in a while. So let's come out ready to play.
Yeah, certainly fear even can be a motivator.
Yeah.
What that lesson taught you was don't show up, don't play well, and you're going to get him not just beat, you're going to get embarrassed. So, yes, that's, there's been so many games. I barely remember that game myself. There's been so many games since then. But the fear factor is going to be there. They taught you that if you come out half-baked against the Colorado Avalanche, man, they're going to hand it to you. And that lesson won't soon be forgotten in Edmonton.
Yeah. Oh, God. I would think so. So no lineup changes. It looks like Spec Matthias Ekholm. We're probably expecting him, though, to play more than 14 minutes. He's feeling better.
Yeah. He's practiced here this morning, had a day off yesterday. My understanding was he was sick. I have no reason not to believe that. So, yes, he's feeling better. He'll play more. No Henrique still day-to-day, which, all we got is he took that shot on the sort of in the inside of the knee, blocked a shot. Yeah. He missed a couple games here. And, they did not practice yesterday. So I'm not, I don't know if he skated or what happened. Frankly, I wasn't here. So we'll see there. But you know what? Szymanski's been okay. Szymanski's going to be my fourth line center. I don't mind that for now. I can live with that.
Well, that line's a big, heavy line, right? And Trent Frederick's game, Spec, it's easily the best 6-game stretch he's had as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. There's no one that can debate that. He's got 2 goals in 6 games, 2 goals actually in the last 4 games. He's actually scored the first goal of the game, 3 out of his 4 goals this season. But the big difference for me in Frederick's game is how many battles he's winning with the puck. And he just, he looks more confident. Like he's just knocking guys off. He's using his big frame to his advantage. And, against Colorado tonight, the top dogs are going to go up against the top dogs. But I look at that fourth line on Colorado due to injuries. That's a matchup that actually I think really favors Edmonton's fourth line the way they're playing.
Yeah, that's fair. And, listen, even on the top line, like Lehkonen's not playing tonight. Okay, Landeskog, second line player for the Avs, he's not playing tonight. So, like, if you take the 4 lines and the defense and stack them up against each other, there's not a ton to choose from here. Not a ton. Now, Colorado's got 25 more points than Edmonton for a reason. Okay, this, we're not kidding you here. They're the better team. But I don't, when I look through the 2 sets of lines here, and I could see how, everybody, like, it's not black and white is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, if you're going to be Frederick, hockey history, Jason, is littered with guys who showed up and you thought, man, look at that guy. He's big and he's strong. He's going to be physical, and they're not. And you're always left disappointed when a guy Frederick's size doesn't go into a corner and, tries to skill the puck out of the corner instead of going in there and knocking the other guy on his rear end and just taking the puck. That's what I want out of Frederick. And anybody that's got a size advantage, you got to use your size advantage. And he's starting to do that. He certainly has. He's like you say, he's going into a battle now thinking he's going to knock the other guy off the puck rather than going there trying to pick it out with his stick. So it's a place to start. That's where he's going to get confidence. You win a couple battles, you get some confidence. The puck goes in, you get a little bit more confidence. You hang on to the puck a little bit more. And that's what the Oilers need. They need some of these guys that haven't been able to help for the first 60 games to start to help in the last 20.
Well, their bottom six, their team without McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice since the Olympic break is actually a plus team 5-on-5. So you got to start somewhere. They're outscoring the opposition without McDavid and Draisaitl. With McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice 5-on-5, they're only even. And that's actually where it's got to get better, funny enough. The bottom guys, now this is only a 6-game window, but they're top guys, and tonight's going to be a real challenge, of course, because Colorado can score. They're the number 1 scoring team in the league. The Oilers are the number 2 scoring team in the league. The difference is the Avs are the number 1 team in goals against, and the Oilers are 27th in goals against. So I don't know if you want to run and gun tonight, Spec, but Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl are very proud players. I know McDavid, you want to beat your friends. And I'm sure him and McKinnon, because of what happened in Four Nations and the Olympics, you know what, there's a deep-seated respect between the two, but you know how it is. There's no friends when the game's on. I'm very curious to see that matchup tonight, and even the Makar-Bouchard matchup, because Evan Bouchard's put up really good numbers here from November 1st. Right, leading the league by defensemen and scoring that time by a significant margin. You know, a lot of his numbers, his October was bad, but since then his numbers are really good.
Oh, for sure. He's if he's not in your Norris conversation, it's because you turned the TV off on about November 15th, right? For sure. I look at it talking about McDavid and Draisaitl. I know plus minus is an antiquated stat. I get it. But these two guys are, I think, 1st and 4th in the National Hockey League in scoring, and they're plus 12, right? That's not very good. There's a reason that just tells you there's too many goals going in at even strength. And you and I have been on the same page. I wrote this yesterday. I thought they looked like more of a 4-line team in Vegas. Draisaitl and McDavid played 22 seconds together, a 5-on-5 time in Vegas. That is a trend I would love to see continue for the Oilers. I want to see a 4-line team. If Frederick and Doc and Szymanski earn their ice time tonight, I think they should get some. And if it comes as an extra shift that Draisaitl doesn't get, or even McDavid, a well-balanced 4-line team is more important. I guess I'd say to you, what are the Oilers won, the old way, right? What have they won the old way? I think balancing out their ice time is important. Now, one thing that you can tell me about this, Jay, Knobloch said this morning, he alluded to one of the issues with getting your 4th line ice time numbers up is none of those guys are killing penalties.
Yes, I know.
And on most teams, your 4th liners are PK guys, and that's where they get some of their minutes and their touches and their action. It's where they play. So it is difficult for the coach. If his 4th line's not on a PK, it's going to be harder to get those guys minutes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've said it all along, because they're not realistically, you got to look at 9. If they get 10 minutes, that's max, because there's only in an average game for the Oilers, there's 50 minutes of 5-on-5 time. That's what there is on average. In some games, it's going to be less. And so when it's 50, if you want your top guys out there at 14 minutes, now it's 28. Now there's only 22 minutes left. Your 3rd line gets you 13, maybe 12. That's only 9 or 10 minutes from the 4th line. That's just how it's going to be. So, you know what? They got to go. And the thing I've liked is because I argued this. Everyone's like, oh, you got to play your bottom guys more. You can't play your bottom guys more. There's not any minutes. And I said, their bottom guys were actually, I went through all the Western teams. Lots of guys were Janmark was averaging 12 minutes a game, for God's sakes, and had 1 goal. Don't tell me it's a lack of opportunity for him. He just couldn't score. But I've looked at Doc and even Frederick in this stint. They're impacting the game in limited minutes. And that's it's a hard job, but that's what it is until Doc or Frederick can find a way to be a penalty killer. And I'm not sure they're ever going to be. I'm not sure Frederick's ever killed penalties, really. So, maybe you can get on some second unit power play time later on. That's just how it's going to be. And it's probably when the organization looks for guys to be on their 4th line, they better look to find penalty killers. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to get them involved.
No, I agree. And now you're looking at a situation where, Nugent Hopkins and McDavid jump over the boards as 2 of your penalty killers. They're 1st line players. You know, I don't love, we talked about this yesterday. I don't like Connor McDavid killing penalties. I don't want him killing penalties if I'm the coach.
Yeah.
Right now with Henrique being out, that's a little bit different. That's a centerman who kills penalties, who's not in your lineup. So I get it. But listen, the good Lord made fourth liners for a reason, and one of them is to kill penalties, Jay. That's just the way hockey works. So the Oilers are a little backwards on that one, that's for sure.
Well, but you look around, like, you know, look at Barkov. They just won 2 cups. Their top center, he's killing more penalties than most guys in the league. So it does happen from some. But you're right. I think, you know, he's more of a, you know, he's not an elite level offensive player like McDavid is. So I'd have no problem if Dickinson and Kapanen and Savoy and Henrique and Curtis Lazar, if he's back in the lineup later on, if those are your penalty killers. And now, if you want to give McDavid, you know, the final 25 seconds of a PK here or there, you know, maybe a team now it's your second unit, and maybe they're all, oh God, we got to be a little bit on our toes. I don't mind that at all because it makes them uncomfortable. But I definitely don't love it when he's starting on the penalty kill. I would agree with you on that.
Especially if it's going to be if it's a tie game, if it's a tight game, if it's late in the game, and the objective is not to score here. The objective is to get in lanes and stop block shots and stop pucks from going in. I just don't think McDavid needs to be part of that.
Looking at the goalie matchup tonight, Blackwood's numbers since he came back from that injury in January have been great, right? The .892 in his last 11 games, still only a 2.75 goals against. And, you know, it's 2 games that have really kind of skewed that. His last start, he got beat 4 goals on 11 shots. Connor Ingram, pretty solid game. The review definitely changes how people would view that game. There's no question about it. But, you know, it clearly looks like Ingram, it's his net for now, until Jari can show it. Jari's going to play one of the games Thursday or Friday, but, you know, this is an opportunity. Ingram, I don't think, has cemented himself in. Like, it's been a while since he had 2 games in a row with above 900 save percentage. I know it's not the only number to look at, but it's something that he needs to build on as well going into tonight.
Yeah, this team has to play better in order to hold any kind of a goalie contest. You got to have a team in front of you that plays consistently for a few games in a row, so you can kind of look at it and say that Jari and Ingram both played behind what we would call a respectable defensive effort. Like they haven't, you know, they haven't given you, like the Carolina game, you know, the shots were 32-16. Carolina had the puck all night. They were way the better team. Who played goal in that game? Was it Jari? It was Jari. I can't remember. But my point would be playing goal in that Carolina game and playing goal in the Vegas game are not the same thing. Edmonton rolled out a nice defensive game against Vegas. You know, so my point would be that give me some defensive consistency for the team, and then I'll give you a review of which goalie I like better. But when it's up and down and down and up, and, you know, grade A after grade A, the goaltending, we've learned this in Edmonton, right? Goaltending is as much about the way the team plays in front of them. And right now, Ingram's got the job for sure. And if he gets another good defensive effort tonight, I'll bet you gives him a pretty good game.
Well, he's going to need one for sure. Well, Spec, we'll let you get dressed, get you off to the game in Colorado, and we will chat with you tomorrow. And it'll be interesting to break down what happens tonight between the Avs and the Oilers. Something tells me there'll be some fireworks.
Oh, you bet, partner. Enjoy the game, man.
There you go. That's Mark Spector joining us from Colorado. Some bad news today for all of you, for a local guy, one of the greatest soccer players that the nation's ever had, Alphonso Davies, just fresh off of coming back from an injury, was on the pitch today. And I don't know if he re-aggravated the hamstring or he has something else, but he left the pitch in tears, very frustrated as he is banged up again. So that's some bad news. We'll come back. We'll talk a little soccer, lots more hockey around the NHL. The early games have started, and the early scoreboard is helping the Edmonton Oilers. We'll update you on that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense. Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Salvi Group is celebrating 50 years of building homes and communities, and we want to share the celebration with you. For a limited time during our 50/50 event, you'll enjoy 50% off select packages. That's special savings, select upgrades, and added value, all designed just for you. Build new or move in sooner at Hillshire. There's never been a better time to call Hillshire home. Celebrate with Salvi Group and enjoy 50 years, 50% off. Visit Hillshire today. Salvi Group, 50 years of craftsmanship, quality, and commitment.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
What's some non-Nissan drivers here?
Nightmarish flurries out of the Northwest today, looking like a horror movie.
What Nissan drivers here?
It's a glorious day out there.
Get a Nissan Kicks S all-wheel drive for $398 monthly at 2.9% with $0 down. Built, tested, and trusted to conquer Canada's harsh winters. Visit Nissan.ca for details. 60 months, conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.5:30 as we continue on a busy night in the National Hockey League. 13 games, 7 of them already underway. Tonight, the Sabres continue to roll, man. It's a Tuesday night in Buffalo, and it's sold out, jam-packed. The Sharks are in town. Sabres jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. Alex Tuck with his 28th. Jack Quinn with his 13th. But then Macklin Celebrini has made it 2-1 with his 33rd of the season. No score between the Bruins and the Kings. Oliver Kapanen, the rookie, scores his 20th goal of the year. Canadians need a win. They lead the Maple Leafs 1-0. And the Florida Panthers, don't tell them that they're just finishing the year for no reason. They're beating the Red Wings early. It's 1-0. Vinny Hinostroza gets his first. Lots of guys scoring goals early with their new team. So he has one for them. And the Hurricanes, no surprise here. I think Pittsburgh might be in trouble in this month of March. They lead the Penguins. They're out shooting them 11-1. And it's Stan Coven has his 12th of the season. Also, right now, you have a chance. We got a great prize pack today, courtesy of our friends at McDonald's. So you can text in 833-401-1440. So automatically, our winner today is going to win a $50 gift card from McDee's. What you need to do is text in the word STICKS. Very simple. STICKS. You know how to spell it. Text in right now, STICKS. And not only if you're the winner today, you'll get the $50 GC, but you also will be entered into a draw for the ultimate hockey fan prize pack. It includes a signed McDavid jersey, a signed McDavid NHL Star Stick collectible, you know, the little sticks, a $100 McDonald's gift card, and a $100 NHL gift card. That's a pretty sweet prize pack. So all you got to do to be qualified, text in the word STICKS. We'll give you about 10 minutes time. So text it in, STICKS. You know how to spell it, STICKS. And away you go. And Connor will pick someone, and then you'll be the qualifier. You get an automatic $50 GC, and then you'll go in the grand prize draw. Ooh, mama. Could be awesome. And we're going to do those major draws coming up, I think, on Friday or Monday. So there you have it. So just text in STICKS right now, 833-401-1440, and you could win. Meanwhile, let's talk a little hockey as we're going to get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction, founded in 2009, focusing in land development, power and gas installation. They help to shape and build Edmonton communities. That's All-Star Construction. As Derek Van Diest joins us. DVD, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Buddy, I'm great. I got some stats to mull over. McDavid's on an 18-game road point streak in the last 40 years. Only Gretzky twice, 29 and 22. Pat LaFontaine, 22 games. Mario Lemieux, 21. And Patrick Kane, 19, have had a scoring streak this long on the road. It's kind of quiet because the Oilers have been giving up so much. But, man, McDavid is really rolling. He also passed Guy freaking Lafleur for career assists with his 794th in the last game.
Yeah, it's obviously impressive. He's only 4 goals away from 400 as well. I think only 5 Warriors have gotten to 400. Yeah, he's playing lights out. He's not shooting the puck as much as I thought he would coming back for the Olympics. Remember that first game of the Olympics? He had like 7 shots on net. He was firing from everywhere, and I think we kind of anticipated him getting to 400 here, but he's not shooting the puck as much. But he's creating a lot of chances. Guys are finishing for him. So yeah, I think that's the big thing with McDavid. If guys can bury some of those chances that he sets up, he's going to get a lot of points. He's just so dangerous with the puck, so dangerous on the rush, and so good at finding guys that are open. And I think it's just a matter, if he finds you when you're open, you better put that puck in the net, or you're not going to be playing with him very much longer. But I think right now, he's kind of feeling it, and he's so confident, so good with the puck. Just every time he gets it, he's on the attack. It's a lot of fun to watch.
It very much so. When you look at the Oilers and where they're going tonight against the Avalanche, like, this is a great test against the best team in the National Hockey League, a team that scores a lot, a team that doesn't give up very much. And for the most part, Edmonton was pretty good against Vegas, but Vegas is a team that's struggling. Like, tonight's a total different. What's your expectation for the Oilers, who got lambasted 9-1 earlier?
Yeah, I just like to see them in the game. I just like to see them play well, play defensively, not make many mistakes. And I think Colorado is a team that drives the play, and I think Edmonton wants to be a team that drives the play. And sometimes when you have those two clashes, you can kind of come up with pretty exciting hockey. But I think the importance of the Oilers is to play well in their own end, and I think that's something that they've obviously been striving for, and they've been looking for a long time. That's why they made the 3 moves with the Chicago Blackhawks, brought in 3 defensive-minded players. So I think if they can shore up things in their own end, get some decent goaltending, they can hang around, because I think they do have the firepower to play offense with Colorado. It's just that they can't get into a big chance kind of game where they're trading chances with that team, because they're just too strong. They just have too many weapons. But I think the Oilers were happy with their defensive game in Vegas, and I think they should be. I thought they played pretty well defensively, but I think they have to play a patient game in Colorado. I know that the Colorado, they're going to get their chances. They're going to have the puck. They're going to drive the play. But I think the Oilers have to play a really solid defensive game, and that'll be interesting to see if they're able to kind of execute that tonight and play a good solid game and then take advantage of their opportunities. And I think that's what the big thing the Oilers have to do. And I think another thing, too, is that they got contributions from the third and fourth line. And I think those guys, if you can get those guys going, those guys contributing, I think that's going to be a big benefit. And I think part of that is allowing those guys some decent ice time. Like, I think that we saw that I think Chris Knobloch rolled the lines pretty well in the last game, and he gave those guys an opportunity. And I think that's what you got to get everyone involved. And I know it's easy to, when you're down, when you're chasing a game, to throw McDavid and Draisaitl over the boards every second shift. But I think you have to keep the other guys involved. And if you do that and they can make contributions, then I think that's going to be better off for this hockey team.
Yeah, it's going to be limited minutes for the fourth line because they don't have any penalty killers on there. Like, obviously, when Henrique's in the lineup, he's a penalty killer, so that's where he'll get his minutes up a little bit. But it's hard to do for sure. Moving to we talk about the fourth line has played better. The Connor Ingram, Tristan Jarry thing. It looks right now like it's Ingram's job. That could change. There's still 6 weeks left in the regular season. How confident are you that Ingram can be the guy?
Well, he's shown that he can be. I think what I like about Connor Ingram, and I didn't know a ton about him when he got here. You saw him play a little bit in Arizona. Is I think he reads the game really well, and I think that's what I like about him. He's not a big goalie, but he reads the game really well. He's always in the right spots. He's always in good positions, and I think that's important. And I think that's probably his biggest strength, is how well he knows where the shots are coming from. He's always prepared. He never seems to be taken by surprise. So I think if he can play that way, I think the Oilers will be happy with that. They made their bed with their goaltending with Jarry and Ingram. And I think Jarry hasn't played very well since he came back from that injury. He's trying to find his game again. Like, he makes some good saves, but then he'll let in some soft goals. And that kind of defeats the purpose of the big saves if you're going to let in some soft goals. So I think right now they're going to give the ball to Ingram and let him run with it. And Jerry's going to have to win that job back. It's going to be up to him to kind of win that job back, work hard in practice, get the confidence of his teammates, get the confidence of his coach, and make Bowman look good about that trade, because right now that trade doesn't look so great because Jarry's not playing very well, and they've had to go with Ingram. And if you had an Ingram Stewart Skinner combination, I think a lot of people would have preferred that right now, just the way Tristan Jarry's playing. But he's capable of playing really good. He's capable of being a real top goaltender, and the Oilers just need that from him right now. But I think it's Ingram's net for now, and I think it's his to lose, because I think the Oilers have a bit more confidence in him to be more consistent on a game-by-game basis.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's going to come down, like, he's going to have to grind his way back into it, right? It's just that simple. And we'll see if he can do it. A few other quick ones. We're talking about some numbers for the Edmonton Oilers. I mentioned Leon Draisaitl, 12 points in his last 5 games. That's one to watch here tonight for the Oilers. But also, DVD, look at the playoff race in the Western Conference. Ducks, Knights, Oilers, 1, 2, 3. They're separated by 3 points. The Ducks have a game in hand on both the Golden Knights and the Oilers. They're playing in Winnipeg tonight. Then you got Seattle, San Jose, and LA. They're separated by 1 point for the final spot. Who do you think wins the division, and who do you think is going to get that final wildcard spot?
Well, I do think that the Oilers can win the division. I do think that they have the most talent on their team, and I think they just have the veteran talents. And if they can kind of get on a run, they haven't been on a run all year, and they're still fighting for first place. They have won more than 3 games all season. So if they can get on a run here in these last 18 games, if they can put together a 5, 6, 7 game winning streak, I think they should be able to win the division. I think they're the most talented team. I like Anaheim, but they're a young team, I just think that there's still a lot of flaws in their game, even though they're a young team. But I do like the Oilers to finish first in that division. I think Vegas probably will finish second, and then Anaheim will finish third. But like I said, the Oilers have to put their game together. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to come. They got to find that stride, and they got to win more than 3 in a row. They got to put some winning streaks together here. And Connor McDavid said as much heading into the season. This is the tail end of the season here. We're in the stretch here. And the one thing they can't afford is a long losing streak, because those other teams behind them, they're coming hard. Like Seattle's coming, San Jose's coming. Like those other teams are hungry and they're coming hard. So the Oilers have to kind of get it going right now. And this would be the best time to do it. And they have no more excuses anymore. They have no injuries. They have their team. This is the guys that they traded for. And now you go forward with that. But I do think they're still the most talented team in that division. And I still think that they should be able to win the Pacific, which will be important going to the playoffs, because you want to avoid those Central Division teams for as long as possible.
DVD, enjoy the game tonight, buddy. We'll have lots to chat about. Have a great day.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Mandeast from NHL.com. And we had a lot of people texting. Maybe I didn't say it right, but many of you are texting different words, but some of you got it. But we were saying sticks because McDonald's right now, they have the promotion with the Star Sticks, a stick for hockey. So that was the name. And I think Cons has a winner. And I think he's going with, is it Scotty Cons? Is that right?
Formerly Spicy Scott.
Oh, formerly. Okay. All right. There. Speaking of spicy, man, the Buffalo Sabres, they're scoring goals. They're fighting. There's 2 fights in 30 seconds again. The new guy comes in. He's like, hey, wait a sec, guys. I didn't fight last game. It wasn't here. So Logan Stanley gets into a tilt. And 22 seconds later, Beck Mellenstein hits Celebrini. And then Barclay Goodrow comes over. So it's a physical affair. Just had Brendan Gallagher getting into a tilt. Ooh, man, there's lots happening. Lots of fireworks going on right now in the NHL. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the 2-minute warning and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier. A plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère. Je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters.
with record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are this Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large section of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
$5:47 on a Tuesday afternoon. You got about 2.5 hours exactly for puck drop. 8:17 tonight. So plan ahead. Oilers and the Avalanche. You got McDavid. You got McKinnon. You got Draisaitl. You got Makar. You got Bouchard. You got Natchez. You got a lot of the top point producers in the National Hockey League. McDavid first, McKinnon second, Draisaitl is fourth. Marty Natchez is 8th. Evan Bouchard is 12th, and Cale Makar is 22nd. So not bad. 6 of the top 22 going at it tonight. So I like it. Should be a hell of a game. Hell of a game tonight. Let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca.
I want you to meet my new best friend, Brandon Crow. There you go. He's with Hockey Canada, media guy. He's in Milan with the para ice hockey team. I email Brandon my questions for Canadian coach Boris Rybalka. Here's the audio after this morning's 4-1 Canadian victory over Czechia. Brandon, please take it away.
All right, Cam, for you, question number 1, Boris, talk about that type of game and how it builds character as a group.
It's huge. We have great leadership, obviously, where they know on the bench and in between dressing rooms, they knew that they have to turn around and be prepared. And it was nice to see in the dressing room the guys were talking about that. And all year we've talked about it, when we're together in when we get together in Calgary or if it was in Toronto, and the leadership just kept showing. So that was the big one today. It was nice to see the veterans take control.
You talk about improving every day. What sort of improvements did you see today in your group, if any?
The big one where at the end they stayed composed, found a way to win, and that was the big one today. And I just like to see that we were put into a corner a little bit with some adversity and how we reacted, because now, again, leading into the semifinals, they're all going to be, the 2 games are going to be great games. So now we've gone through that a little bit.
Lastly, I'll ask you again, thoughts on China?
Again, we know they're physical. They got speed, but we're physical and we have speed, and we have our forecheck that we're going to be going after them hard, and obviously try to expose their goaltending with lots of shots. So those are a couple of key areas we're going after.
Thanks, Bo.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brandon and Boris, my B&B team. Canada played well, and it was the first game where they were tested. It was the first game Canada did not score a first period goal. So now Canada's next game? Friday morning. Forgive the shameless plug. You can read more in my column on edmontonsun.com. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Halley, Kruger, please don't cry. We will be best friends after the Paralympics. Me, Cam Tate. Sports. 1440.
Boris Verbalka, man, he's a coach for a long time. Good for him. Of course, you probably remember if you're from Camrose, had a lot of success with the Kodiaks for many, many seasons. The Oilers are in Colorado. Tonight, Ingram will start in goal. Blackwood will start for the Avs. No lineup changes for the Edmonton Oilers. Are going to run the same 4 lines. Draisaitl and McDavid will be on their own line. You've got Frederick, Doc, and Szymanski. And then, of course, Savoy will be on the third line once again for the Edmonton Oilers. I thought their lines played pretty well last game, and we'll see if that continues tonight with Kapanen and Savoy and Dickinson as the third line for the Edmonton Oilers. Some early scores in a physical night in the National Hockey League, and brutal news. This just, I saw the replay. It's online, but if you're a Carolina Hurricane fan, Nikolai Ehlers just went into the corner, him and Erik Karlsson, and just odd collision. Ehlers went down, holding on to his knee. You hope it's worse than what it looked like. Or sorry, not as bad as what it looked like, because it looked terrible. For a Hurricanes team, they were hoping Ehlers was one of the new guys on their team that would help them, get deeper in the playoffs. But man, you lose him, that's a big blow. They got a lot of depth, but that's a big blow if he's going to be out for an extended period of time. But it did not look good at all. And just an odd collision, Cons. I don't know if you saw the replay or not, but we'll see. Hey, Greggs, how is it the Colorado's a juggernaut, but their power play is worse than the league? Well, it's second worst, JC, but hey, because they're so dominant everywhere else. They lead the league in goals. They lead the league in goals against. So their power play for them is kind of meh. But I will say this, historically, it's rare that, power plays matter in the playoffs. When you get into series, and guess what? Now you're up against all good teams. So that does matter for sure. I think it's an area of their game they're going to want to sort. Now, it is 20% since they've come out of the Olympic break instead of being 15. So that's a pretty big improvement, and they'll see if they can continue it. The Oilers, meanwhile, they're going to need to be going every element of their game, power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, if they want to pick up what would be an upset win tonight in Denver. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. If you missed any part of the show, especially the Bill Comrie interview, I highly recommend it. Check it out, jasongregor.com, or anywhere where you get your podcasts, or you can rewatch the show on YouTube. Take a quick break. We got the pregame show coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. Paulson and Walker. Here's the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, no better place to shop. GoAuto.ca. They got 15,000 vehicles to choose from. GoAuto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers in action, of course, taking on the Colorado Avalanche from Denver. Puck drop, 8 o'clock. Pre-game coverage coming your way at 7. Elsewhere on the NHL, after 20 minutes, Bruins Kings are scoreless. Sabres lead the Sharks 2-1. Leafs trail the Canadiens 1-0. Lightning up on the Jackets 1-0. Panthers also lead the Red Wings 1-0. And the Flames trail the Rangers 1-0. Penguins and Hurricanes tied at 1 apiece. Midway through the first in St. Louis, Blues and Islanders. Philip Brober's 4th of the year has the Blues on top 1-0. Later tonight, Stars host the Golden Knights. Mammoth take on the Wild. They got the Jets and the Ducks, and the Preds and Seattle. In the association, Raptors and Rockets meeting in about 10 minutes.